the starting lineup for tonight's visitors, the Provo Angels. Leading off, center fielder Richard Giannotti.
Saturday night was an interesting night for the Provo Angels at Larry H. Miller Field. It was the final game of a three-game set with the Casper Rockies, and the lights went out. Not once, not twice, but three times during the game. The power at Larry H. Miller Field completely shut down. The Rockies took a 2-0 lead early. The Angels came back with a home run in the second, and the Rockies would score two more runs in the fifth as they were holding on to a 4-1 lead. But in the seventh inning, with runner at second base, Ryan Leahy came up, hit a ground ball to the shortstop, and the power went off at Larry H. Miller Field. So everybody in the ballpark had to sit down, wait for a couple minutes for the power to get back on. Finally, about 45 minutes later, the power turned on. Caleb Mayer was getting set to step into the box, and the power went off again. So the Angels had to deal with another half an hour to 40 minutes break and wait for the lights to turn back on. Finally, when they did turn back on, both teams were able to get an inning in. But in the bottom of the eighth, Andrew Toussaint hit a monster shot to left field. But as soon as he got done rounding the bases, he stepped on home plate. The power again went off at Larry H. Miller Field. And at that point, both managers, the Rockies manager and Tom Kochman of the Angels, decided to call it quits. The Rockies picking up the victory. And that means every single team in the South Division tied 11-11. While up in the North Division, the Helena Brewers have the best record with a 14-9 clip. It's game one of a two-game set here with the Idaho Fall Chukars out here at McDermott Field. Welcome out to the booth. I'm your host, Jacob Peters. It's a beautiful day for baseball as the Idaho Fall Chukars right now are going on the field, getting set to play defense here as Ronnie Ray will take the mound for the Angels. They'll be opposed by Justin Sherman, who leads the league in wins. He's 4-0, but opponents have hit .330 against him. So despite Justin Sherman with 4 wins this year, he is a guy that can get hit. And the Angels have thrown out the best of their bats tonight as they get set to play on the Idaho Falls Chukars. The Angels, 4 wins and 2 losses against Idaho Falls to open up this season. This will be the last time that the Angels play Idaho Falls here in the first half, because starting on Wednesday, all the South Division teams will be playing North Division clubs. So it'll be really neat to see who comes out on top in the South Division. As 22 games into the season, everybody is tied up. 11 wins, 11 losses. And the Provo Angels trying to make something happen as they want to make it 4 straight years winning the South Division. Again, right here at McDermott Field, we'll bring it right back out here for first pitch. You're listening to Angels Baseball here on SportsJuice.com. Game one of a two-game series with the Idaho Falls Chukars begins in just a couple of seconds. And again, welcome out here to lovely McDermott Field. Good amount of fans at the ballpark tonight as they're getting set to cheer on their Idaho Falls Chukars. As far as the Angels are concerned, let's go ahead and look at the lineup tonight for Provo. Richard Giannotti, the center fielder, will be leading things off. He'll be followed by Nate the Great Sutton at third. Sean Rodriguez, the shortstop, will bat third, and Cliff Remele will clean things up at first base. Andrew Toussaint, the designated hitter, batting fifth. Ben Johnson catching. He'll be hitting sixth. Joshua LeBlanc at second base will be in the seventh hole, while J.R. Renz in right field and Michael Perdomo in left will finish off the bottom part of the Angels lineup. Provo 11-11 on the season. The Chukars 11-11 on the season. In fact, all the teams in the South Division are tied right now for first place or last place, however you want to look at it. Either way, it's going to be an interesting race here in the first half as the entire division is tied up. Provo Angels going to be playing these final two games against Idaho Falls, and the rest of their games will be against North Division teams as the Missoula Osprey come into town the 14th, 15th, 16th, and then the Helena Brewers will be in town for 4. So you can catch all those games beginning Wednesday at Larry H. Miller Field. The team will then head on the road to finish off the first half, a 7-game road trip up in Montana. So stick with us for all these exciting games as the Angels getting that close to making something happen, make it their 4th straight year winning the division. We cross our fingers and hope that that's the reality. Justin Sherman, the right-hander on the mound, 4 wins, no losses, leads the league in wins. He's pitched in 21 1/3 innings, given up 29 hits, 13 runs, and has only walked 5 batters out of the 96 he's faced this year. And by the way, 2 of Justin Sherman's 4 wins have come against the Provo Angels. Don't forget, fans, log on to ProvoAngels.com for all your Provo Angels information, whether you want to find out what the team's doing in the community, if you want to find out what your favorite ball player looks like. Obviously, sitting in the stands, you might not have had a chance to get to know them. So log on to ProvoAngels.com. Also, you can get your ticket information online. $8 Superbox tickets, $6 for reserved and general admission, and $4 for kids and seniors. So give the ticket window a call at 422-8225. Justin Sherman, the right-hander, just getting set on the mound right now. Let's go ahead and look at the defense for Idaho Falls. Felipe Del Rosario is catching. Mario Lison at first. Eddie Solis from San Diego at second base. Ed Lucas at short. And the first-rounder, Billy Butler, will be playing the hot corner at third. Alexander Bautista in left field. Geraldo Valentin in center. And Brian McFall in right. So the Idaho Falls Chukars have been playing some great baseball as of late. They're hitting .350 as a team in the last 6 games. And even though they're only 3-3 in their last 6, they still have some pretty good numbers. A lot of guys tops in the league in batting. They have 3 top hitters in the league in batting average. Geraldo Valentin's playing good, and we'll get into that part of things when the Idaho Falls Chukars come up to bat. Richard Giannotti, the switch hitter, to lead things off here in the first inning. Justin Sherman getting himself situated on top of the mound. It's a beautiful evening for baseball. Giannotti, a .242 hitter, steps in out of the University of Miami. Sherman with the first pitch, and it'll be a strike on the outside part of the plate, 0-1. 350 feet down the left field line, 340 down the right field line, and 400 to dead center here at McDermott Field. The next one is low and inside to even things up at a ball and a strike. So the walls are pretty far out here at this ballpark with 400 to dead center, which is pretty average in baseball. And Giannotti will swing through the next pitch, 1-2. McDermott Field, a beautiful ballpark. A lot of good fans out here enjoying this Pioneer League contest. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Justin Sherman set. This ball will be grounded softly to Eddie Solis at second. He'll pick it up, throws over to first, and that's the first out here in this contest. So Giannotti retired, and Nate the Great Sutton will be making his way up to the bat. Nate Sutton out of UC Santa Barbara. In all 13 games he's played in this year, he's collected at least a hit in every game, and he's been on base 32 times in those 13 games. So Sutton has been getting on, doing a great job, and first pitch he'll take is inside, 1-0. Nate Sutton, a .404 hitter on the season. That's one of the top averages in the league. Sherman's next pitch, that'll be a strike. Good breaking ball on the inside part, 1-1. Nate Sutton, a 24th round draft pick by the Angels. A lot of people weren't quite sure how this guy would play at the professional ranks, but he's really turned things on. The 1-1 pitch lined off of the leg of Justin Sherman, then flips over to third base as Billy Butler makes the throw to first. So the deflection goes right to Butler at third base, quickly 2 outs. And now Sean Rodriguez makes his way in. Rodriguez out of Miami, Florida. Played in Cedar Rapids earlier in the season. Got sent down to the Provo Angels as they called up Billy Boyer. And Rodriguez has been hitting the ball pretty well since joining the Angels. 2 outs on the board. Justin Sherman delivering. First pitch is going to be low. 1 ball and no strikes. In fact, we'll get you up to date with all the things going on in the Angels organization next inning. A lot of the scores from last night. And also get you set for the All-Star game, which will be tomorrow in the big leagues. Rodriguez takes a strike, 1-1. Right now, as we speak, the home run derby is going on, so we'll let you know who's leading in the home run contest. Rodriguez, he'll take a breaking ball outside, 2-1. Justin Sherman on the mound, 4 wins for the Idaho Fall Chukars. He's going to try to make it 5 tonight. He already leads the league in wins. 2 of his victories, like I mentioned, coming against the Provo Angels. The 2-1 pitch, Rodriguez letting it come inside, now 3-1 count. So again, Billy Butler at third base, Ed Lucas at short. He's actually playing out on the grass. And then Eddie Solis at second, Mario Lison at first. Outside, and Rodriguez will take a 2-out walk as he heads over to first base. Don't forget, Angel fans, all Provo Angels action can be caught here on SportsJuice.com. And feel free to drop us emails throughout the game at jpeters@provoangels.com. We'll have some Angels trivia questions for you, also some this date in baseball histories, and a lot more, so stay with us throughout the game. Cliff Reveille from the left side. First pitch going to cut across the inside part of the plate for a strike. So Reveille batting from the left side out of Georgia Tech. An 11th round draft pick. Rodriguez over at first base. Decent speed. Sherman, though, not going to worry about that runner with 2 outs on the board. Here's the 0-1 to Reveille. Grounded to the second baseman, Eddie Solis. He'll spin. Throws over to first. And that'll end the inning. So 1 runner stranded, the Angels with 3 ground outs. We head to the bottom of the first, and the Idaho Fall Chukars going to make their at-bats.
Are there any football fans in the crowd tonight? So stand up for tonight's Tan America Catch a Tan contest. Kyle here will throw a football into the crowd. Whoever catches it will get 3 free tans, courtesy of Tan America. We also have a couple winners in tonight's Sportsman's Warehouse mascot race. Andrea Spree, Jeremy Solman, and Jamie Cook. Jamie, Andrea, Jeremy, head down to the United Dairyman customer service window and prepare to race Charlie the Chucker. Also throughout tonight's game, courtesy of Westmark, some prizes will be given away. Pull out your ticket. Those Westmark tickets, and we will read off the number. Should we read off your number? Head to the United Dairyman.
Back at here, McDermott Field, bottom of the first inning, and let's go ahead and look at the Idaho Fall Chukars lineup for tonight. Geraldo Valentin, the center fielder, will be leading things off. He'll be followed by Eddie Solis at second. And then batting in the 3 spot, Alexander Bautista. He's in left field. Billy Butler cleans things up. He's at third base. He'll be followed by Brian McFall in right field. And then Edward Lucas, the shortstop, hitting 6th. Mario Lison at first base will be batting 7th. Russell Brown, DHing tonight, will be hitting 8th. And then Felipe Del Rosario catching and hitting 9th. So the Idaho Falls Chukars lineup looking pretty good. They're the only team in the league with all right-handers on the team. So that might be a disadvantage for Idaho Falls. Ronnie Ray on the mound for the Angels, 3rd in the league with ERA, 2.45 ERA. And opponents have only hit 176 against Ronnie. So he's one of the tougher starters to hit against in the league. And let's see how he handles the Chukars tonight. Valentine. From the right side, first pitch by Ronnie Ray is going to be down the middle for a strike. Geraldo Valentine, 400 hitter on the season. He's been tearing it up his last 4 games, nearly hitting 600. So Valentine, a free agent pickup. Here's the 0-1 pitch, and it'll be foul down the first base side and into the parking lot. 0-2. Again, the Idaho Falls Chukars, 349 as a team during the last 6 games. That basically means they get hits 35% of the time, and a very difficult feat to do, especially as a team. Ronnie Ray delivers the ball inside, and it's now 1-2. Ben Johnson behind the plate. He's been having some back problems, but he's in the lineup for the 2nd straight game. He missed about 6 games as Tim Duff was the catcher. The 1-2 pitch popped up in the right field, but that one is going to drift foul and into the parking lot again. In fact, it bounces off of a Suburban, it looks like. So somebody's probably sitting in the stands right now with a little irritated about that. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Valentine. 13-game hitting streak. In fact, the Chukars have 3 guys who right now have 13-game hitting streaks on the line. The 1-2 pitch, make it 14 games. Valentine, a single into right field. So with 2 strikes against him, Valentine able to pull back a little bit, get a single into right, and that's the first hit of the game for Idaho Falls. So Valentine on base, and now Eddie Solis, the 2nd baseman, makes his way in. He's another guy with a 13-game hitting streak. Solis, a .259 hitter last year in Arizona for the Royals rookie league team, out of San Diego, California. First pitch, he'll take a strike on the outer third of the plate, 0-1. Valentine with good speed at first base. Solis, a .397 hitter on the season. Ronnie Ray already has something he's got to work out right here, hoping for a ground ball. This pitch is going to be inside, 1-1. Good thing with Ronnie Ray on the mound is opponents only hitting 125 against him when guys are on base. So he's even better when runners are on base. Bears down a little more on the batters, forces his defense to make the plays. Is the 1-1 pitch, and it'll be fouled into the stands, actually off the roof of the Brewer House Outback Steak sign over there. 1-2 to Solis. Bottom of the first inning, no score. It's game 1 between the Angels and the Chukars here at McDermott Field. It's a quick 2-game series before your Angels head back home for a 7-game homestand. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Ronnie Ray's pitch, again, foul ball, right field side. That's going to bounce off a vehicle, off of a glass. Off the side mirror of some van out there. So, tell you what, if you come out to McDermott Field and catch the Angels play the Chukars later on in the season, be sure you park away from the field. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Ronnie Ray throws over to first, and Valentine gets back safely. The first round of the home run contest is just about finished, as Rafael Palmeiro is the last to take his shots for the American League team. So we'll get you up to date with the winners. Pitch out. Ben Johnson throws over to second. The tag is applied, and he is out of there. So Valentine caught stealing. Ben Johnson calling for the pitch out. Makes a decent throw. Was on the other side of the second base bag, but Sean Rodriguez was able to sweep around and make the tag. So Valentine is the first out here. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Solis. Ronnie Ray bears back, delivers, and it's low and outside, 3-2. Eddie Solis, a full count against him. He's been tearing the ball up since joining the Chukars, but he will strike out on a full count as Ronnie sneaks a fastball through there. So there are now 2 outs here in the bottom of the second, and Alexander Bautista makes his way in. Alexander Bautista hitting 524 against the Angels this year. Turn off without you knowing, so you got to wait for it to load up again. Oh, I'm back on. I'm back. Top of the second inning, Andrew Toussaint, Ben Johnson, and Joshua LeBlanc. It's no score here at McDermott Field. Justin Sherman, the right-hander, with the first pitch, and Toussaint will take a ball outside, 1-0. Andrew Toussaint hit a home run in Saturday's game against the Casper Rockies, and then came up to bat in the bottom of the eighth and hit another home run, but as soon as he stepped on home plate, the lights went out, so that home run didn't count, as Toussaint right now has 5 home runs, one of the top power hitters in this league. He fouls the ball down the first base side, 1-1. So Toussaint, a .282 average overall, 13th round draft pick by the Angels. The pitch by Sherman is going to be a ball inside, 2-1. Stick with us throughout the game. We're going to have some this date in baseball history, some of my most favorite things to talk about, great things that have happened on this date. And also we'll look over the organizational report, let you know what teams are hot, what teams are not. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Toussaint taking a strike. Justin Sherman, the right-hander, getting set, and this one will be outside to fill things up. So Andrew Toussaint in Saturday's game, that home run he hit in the second inning was his 5th of the year, but then he came up to bat with the bases loaded in the 3rd inning and struck out. Had 2 men on base in the 5th inning and struck out before hitting another solo home run. And Justin Sherman's pitch is going to be outside for a ball. So Toussaint heads over to first base. Ben Johnson, a switch hitter, stepping in. 3 hits and 27 at-bats against right-handers this year. And some of the blame has to go to his bad back. He's had some difficulties with his rotation at the plate. That's one reason why he has started off in a bit of a funk. Johnson, though, lacing one right into the glove of Mario Lison at first. Good glove work as Mario snares the ball, turns around, steps on first, and doubles up Andrew Toussaint. So a clean, unassisted double play by Lison, 2 quick outs, and Joshua LeBlanc will come in. A line drive by Ben. He hit the ball hard, but just right at the first baseman. 2 outs, Joshua LeBlanc from the left side. LeBlanc, a .269 hitter. First pitch he'll take is going to be inside, 1-0. LeBlanc has had a very difficult time this season as far as playing defense is concerned. He's already committed 12 errors, and the league record is 32. So he's obviously on pace for that, but he's had his difficult times in the field as he fouls the pitch off, 1-1. He hits the ball well, though. .269 average. He's hitting about .380 in the last 10 games he's played in. Batting from the left side, Sherman's pitch is going to be low and outside, 2-1. LeBlanc out of Southern A&M. A 6th round draft pick by the Anaheim Angels. He's the highest drafted player on this year's team. Grounder right to the shortstop. It's a broken bat. Lucas has to hurry the stretch, and LeBlanc is going to get in there safely. So broke the bat. It was just a slow roll to right to second. Lucas had to charge the ball. Well, LeBlanc has pretty good speed, and they're going to give him an infield single, which is a good call. As LeBlanc, with very good speed, he's on first, and now J.R. Renz comes in with 2 outs. Renz, a much better hitter against right-handers than he has been against lefties this year. Renz, a switch hitter, 4th rounder last year, 4th rounder 2 years ago by the Angels. J.R. Renz, 258 overall this year. LeBlanc at first base, decent speed. Justin Sherman has a runner on first, but again, let's see if he worries about that runner or if he tries to attack the batter. First pitch to Renz. It'll be a breaking ball on the inside part of the plate. 0-1. JRN's leading the team in doubles. Also has a couple of home runs and 14 RBIs, which is second most on the Angels team. And he has a strong arm in right field. Ren's a very good athlete. The 0-1 pitch is going to be low, 1-1. JRN's out of Tulsa, Oklahoma, home of the AA Tulsa Drillers. Renz grew up going to Tulsa Driller games, and now here he is playing in the minor leagues with a chance to maybe one day play in front of his speed, has a couple stolen bases on the year, but he's also been caught about 4 times. So LeBlanc isn't going anywhere. If anything, Tom Koshman will call for a hit and run. That's one of his favorite things to do with 2 outs. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Check. The ball will go foul down the first base side as Mario Lisan tries to grab it and pull it fair, but either way, Renz comes back for another swing. Also on Wednesday, first game home, the Provo Angels are proud to announce that Asnar Family Chiropractic will be at the ballpark giving out free massages. Free massages, free balloons. Asnar, they'll be here throughout the season, so check your dates. LeBlanc going, the pitch is outside. He's going to steal. The ball now gets into center field, so it'll be a stolen base and then an error on Felipe Del Rosario. So LeBlanc finds himself at third base. A good throw by Del Rosario, but it was just wide as it got away from the shortstop, Ed Lucas. The count now, 2 balls, 2 strikes. LeBlanc at third base. And now Renz has a chance to give the Angels the first run of the game. However, with 2 strikes against Renz, you know he's had a difficult time with 2 strikes against him this year. 2's across the board. Here's the pitch. That one, though, will be a bloop into left field for a base hit. So Renz, a good piece of 2-out, 2-strike hitting as he brings home LeBlanc, and the Angels now lead by a score of 1-0.
Left fielder, Mike.
Anytime Renz is up to bat and he has a couple strikes against him, it scares us because he has a lot of strikeouts this season. In fact, he leads the league in whiffs. But he's able to punch out, get an RBI single to left, and now the 9-hitter, Michael Perdomo, digs in. So Renz is at first base. We replay the whole scenario. This pitch is going to be sent into right field. Brian McFall will float back, battles the sun, right in front of the warning track, and catches the ball for out number 3. But the Angels put a run on the board thanks to some good hitting by Renz. We head to the bottom of the second. Provo Angels 1 and the Idaho Fall Chukars 0.
And winner in tonight's Hertz Chip and Drive contest, Carl Sievers heads to the United Dairyman customer service window and be prepared to chip for new car. Now time for tonight's Sportsman's Warehouse mascot race. We send things down to the eloquently dressed Dustin Cooper.
Thank you, Tim Hagerty. I'm down here with Jamie Colton, and it's Jamie's 10th birthday today, so if everybody can wish Jamie a happy birthday. And Jamie's going to participate in the Sportsman's Warehouse mascot race, and Jamie has to catch Charlie running from second before Charlie reaches home. Are you ready, Jamie? Are you ready, Charlie? On your mark, get set, go! Go, Jamie! Run on the bases! Everybody cheer Jamie on for her birthday and cheer her on to catch Charlie. Jamie catch Charlie in a free summer college trip to the Sportsman's Warehouse. Cheer her on, she's almost got him. And Jamie wins the free summer college trip to the Sportsman's Warehouse.
Fans, to remind you that tomorrow and all Tuesdays is Arctic Circle 2 for 1 Tuesdays. Just bring in an Arctic Circle sandwich wrapper for a special 2 for 1 offer. That's every Tuesday. A couple other birthdays in the ballpark here tonight. A happy 11th birthday to Cody Reese. And we have a smart young man named Homer Plummer that just graduated 2nd grade.
Bottom of the second here at McDermott Field. Brian McFall, Edward Lucas, and Mario Lisson, the batters. And the Provo Angels on top by a score of 1-0. Ronnie Ray on the mound for the Angels. McFall from the right side. Here's the first pitch by Ray, and it'll be inside. 1 ball, no strikes. Brian McFall, the .313 hitter on the season. Last year hit .220, so obviously as he makes his climb through the Royal system, it seems like he does better and better with each season. He'll foul a ball into the third base side. Out here at McDermott Field, the seating is actually very interesting because down the lines, the seats actually jot inward toward the field, so a lot more dangerous. Fans got to be alert. The 1-1 pitch is outside, 2-1 to McFall. Now, last year, McFall was playing in the Arizona League with the Royals. So quite a few Idaho Fall players were in Arizona last year. The 2-1 count, low and inside, 3-1. Guys who have advanced in the home run derby this year, or I should say during the first round of this year's contest, 3-1 pitch, foul ball into the third base side again, fills the count up. Rafael Palmeiro, believe it or not, he's hit 9 home runs in the first round, most by any player in the first round. So Palmeiro advances and McGill Tejada advance for the American Leaguers, while Lance Berkman and Barry Bonds will advance for the National Leaguers. McFall takes a pitch low and inside. He'll head over to first base with the leadoff walk here in the bottom of the second inning. So Berkman, Bonds, and then Palmeiro and Tejada going into the second round of tonight's home run derby over in Houston. And then, of course, tomorrow the All-Star game will be on. So, exciting matchups going on in this year's mid-season classic. And Lucas, first pitch, he'll send one into left field. Perdomo has to give it chase. He's on his horse, and he's going to make a play at the warning track. So Lucas hit the ball hard, getting out to left field, and now the ball's going to skip away on the relay. So the shortstop, Sean Rodriguez, who got the relay from Perdomo, threw the ball wide to the first baseman, Cliff Remele. Now, would have gunned down the runner, but instead it skipped away, so McFall luckily gets back to first base. 1 gone as Lucas hit the ball hard, but right at Michael Perdomo. And Mario Lisson comes in. Mario, a .271 hitter on the season. He's kind of got a cool name, Lisson. Don't know if he's French or not. Tim? French? Venezuelan. We say his last name like he's a Frenchman, though. McFall at first base. Ronnie Ray, 18 1/3 innings pitched entering the game. That's the most on this Angels team. And he'll quickly throw to first base as the runner gets back safely. get your baseball minds ready, because next inning we're going to give you some Angel trivia questions. First person to drop me an email at jpeters@provoangels.com. If you're out in the Provo area, we will be sure to get you some tickets to an upcoming Angels game. The ball skips away from catcher Ben Johnson, but he does a good job keeping it in front of him. 1-0. And obviously, if you guess the trivia question correctly, we'll give a couple shout-outs to you and whoever else you list in the email. That's if you're outside of the state of Utah. 1 ball, no strikes. Mario Lisson from the right. Ronnie Ray delivers. Fastball low, and it's now 2 balls, no strikes. Provo Angels 1, Idaho Fall Chukars 0. The first of 2 games here with the Idaho Fall Chukars. And the Angels, well, they'll be back in town on Wednesday. The 2-0 pitch, good breaking ball right over the plate, 2-1. If you're thinking about bringing a group out to the ballpark this summer, well, we've got a lot of great opportunities for you. All-you-can-eat barbecue for $15 a person, or great group outing rates, $5 tickets for your group of 25 to 100. So bring out the company, bring out your clients. Maybe you want to spend your family reunion at the ballpark. If you're a diehard baseball fan, we urge you to do that. Give us a call at 377-BALL. Lisson takes the 2-1 offering inside. It's now 3-1. So the right-hander, Ronnie Ray, has already walked a couple of batters and has given up a single. 3-1 count to Lisson. Runner at first base is Brian McFall. Ground ball would be huge, runner going, but it'll be high for a walk. So Lisson will jog over to first base. McFall now at second, and with 1 out, Russell Brown makes his way in. Brown has 2 hits and 23 at-bats against right-handers this year. And as you know, Ronnie Ray has been lights out this season, but let's see who can win this battle. As obviously, Brown has a couple of guys on base, 1 out, bottom of the second. McDermott Field, we got the barbecue grill brewing out to the left of us. The fans with their sunglasses, their fans. It's a beautiful night for baseball, about 85 degrees. Brown takes the first pitch for a ball, 1-0. Again, 350 down the left field line, as every single Idaho Fall batter is a right-hander, so that's basically where they aim. And it's a pretty high fence out there. The next pitch by Ray, grounded. Sutton, backhander at third. He only has 1 play, and that's the first. Good strong throw by Nate for out number 2. As he had a jog back down the third base side, backhand the ball, and makes a good throw to first. Well, McFall advances to third base, Lisson at second, and with 2 outs, the 9-hitter, Felipe Del Rosario comes in. Del Rosario, .273 hitter on the season. Ronnie Ray wanting to get out of this inning, as there are runners at third base and second base, 2 outs. Bottom of the second, and the Angels up by a run. This one sent a mile in the left field. Perdomo has to give a chase, and he will not get to that ball. Bounces off the warning track, off the wall. Perdomo gets the ball back in, and it'll be a 2-out, 2-run double for the 9-hitter, Felipe Del Rosario. So the Chukars with 2 runs now, the Angels with 1. Ronnie Ray was almost one of those pitchers who's nearly impossible to hit against him, and runners were in scoring position. But on the first pitch to Del Rosario, he guesses right, drills it down that left field side, and the Chukars now have a 2-1 lead. Back to the top of the order as Geraldo Valentin steps in. First pitch by Ronnie. It's going to be away from the right-hander, 1-0. Good piece of hitting by Del Rosario. 4 hits and 18 at-bats against righties this year, but he's able to bear back and hit off of a very good pitcher. Valentin, the 1-0 count. This one hit the opposite field. Now J.R. Renz has to go back as he twists around quite a bit. It bounces off the wall. Coming all the way around from second to score is Del Rosario. Heading into third base is Valentin, and he's got himself a triple. So the Chukars, with 2 outs on the board, hitting against Ronnie Ray. Valentin hits one off the wall. It's an RBI triple, and it's now 3-1 Idaho Falls. What a hitter Valentin has been this year. A 600 average in his last 5 games. And get this, nearly a 700 hitter when guys have been in scoring position. So Valentin coming through as he's got 2 hits now on the game. Zeke Zimmerman out on the mound talking with his right-hander, Ronnie Ray. And so far this season, you haven't seen Ronnie struggle like this. He's been nearly impossible to hit when runners have been on base. Even harder to hit with runners in scoring position, but obviously this Idaho Falls team's there for real. They've been hitting the ball with authority during this last week or so, and they continue that here against the Angels. The umpire's out on the mound, just breaking up the meeting between Zeke Zimmerman, Ben Johnson, and Ronnie Ray. Don't forget, fans, a lot of great action going on at Larry H. Miller Field this week, as Wednesday coming into town will be Missoula, and then Helena will come in for 4. So plenty of great Provo Angels action going on at home starting Wednesday. Eddie Solis from the right side. First pitch is a ball outside, 1-0. Solis struck out in the first inning. He's another guy who has a 13-game hitting streak entering this game. Ray looking to home. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. 1-1. Good breaking ball by Ronnie. Good fastball, curveball pitcher. Also has a good changeup that he can locate inside or outside, depending on the batter. But mainly it's his fastball, curveball he goes to. There's a fastball, low and outside, 2-1. Bottom of the second inning, the Chukars have scored 3 runs this frame as they lead the Angels 3-1. 2 balls and a strike. Eddie Solis waits. This next pitch, again, it's going to be outside, 3-1. In the home run derby, Barry Bonds and Lance Berkman have advanced to round 2 for the National League, while Rafi Palmeiro and McGill Tejada, both of the Orioles, advance to the second round for the AL team. Strike taken to Solis, 3-2. Outside part of the plate, Solis thought it was a ball, but instead has to dig back in, as he has a full count against him. Geraldo Valentin at third base. Ronnie Ray getting a sign. Here's the pitch, and that one will be outside. Solis heads to first base with a 2-out walk. Runners now at the corners. Alexander Bautista makes his way in. The Chukars getting on base right now is Ronnie Ray. Already has some troubles. 4 walks through the first inning and 2/3. He's also given up 3 hits, 3 runs. Bautista with the runners at the corners. The right-hander, Ronnie Ray, getting the sign. First pitch, grounded, fair down the third base side. That's going to roll all the way in foul grounds down the left field wall. So Solis will have to stop at third. The throw comes in, but it doesn't matter because Bautista gets in with a double. That ball was hugging the line all the way down. It was fair right over the third base bag and then scooted into foul ground. So Bautista with an RBI single. Idaho Falls now with 4 runs. Valentin scores. Solis going from first to third. Bautista gets the RBI double. So 2 men in scoring position, and now Billy Butler, who's hitting about .420 at home this season. First pitch is a ball outside, 1-0. Billy Butler, 14th overall pick out of high school, leading this team with 17 RBIs and hitting at a .316 clip overall. 1-0. Ronnie Ray's been falling behind on these batters. Catches the outside part of the plate to even things up. Some of the fans out here didn't think that was a strike, but either way, it's a 1-1 count. Solis at third base, Bautista at second. 2 outs on the board. And the next pitch to Butler again cuts the outside. 1-2. All 4 runs have scored this inning with 2 outs on the board. Entering this game, opponents hit 0-9-1 against Ronnie Ray when runners have been in scoring position. But it's not the case against the Chukars here. Butler fouling it off into the parking lot. Down the right field line. 1 ball, 2 strikes. So bottom of the second. It seems like anytime the Angels score a run, whatever team they're playing against comes back and puts even more runs on the board. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Butler, the 9th man to come to bat this inning. Now he calls time as he steps back. Gets himself situated in the batter's box. Bent knees. Hands about shoulder high as he bats from the right. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Away. And it's now 2-2 to Butler. The Angels have won 4 of 6 against Idaho Falls, but a lot of those games were 1-run contests. So both of these teams have battled each other here at McDermott Field and at Larry H. Miller Field. Ronnie Ray missing the strike zone. It now fills the count up at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Runner at third, runner at second. Butler going to look for his pitch. Let's see what Ronnie Ray decides to throw. Here it is. Breaking ball outside. Part of the plate. That strikes out Butler. Ronnie Ray getting that curveball to cut the outer part of the plate. Butler doesn't like it as he throws his bat down, but either way, the Chukars have scored 4 runs here in the second. We head to the top of the third. Idaho Falls 4 and the Provo Angels 1.
Happy birthday to Brandon Willis today. Now time for tonight's blockbuster movie quote contest. Name the movie that the following quote is from. Write it on the entry form in the program and drop it off the United Dairyman customer service window. Here's the quote.
His numbers are, look at this.
If you can dodge traffic, you can dodge a ball.
Can't hit the guy when runs in scoring position, but he scored 4 runs on him in 2 outs.
A lot of Chukars fans celebrating birthdays today, including Frank Holmes. Happy 63rd birthday, Frank. And at First Car Sales, it's so easy to own the vehicle of your dreams today. First Car Sales, where every day is a sale day. Hey kids, you can run the bases after tonight's game at McDermott Field. That's presented by Rita Watson at Assist to Sell and Sonny Berge at Citywide Funding.
Bergman, yeah, he's hit more than Bond. He's got 5 already. Top of the third inning, Idaho Falls Chukars 4, the Provo Angels 1. The Angels will be setting up Richard Giannotti, Nate Sutton, and Sean Rodriguez. Don't forget, fans, that there's plenty of opportunities for you to get involved with the Provo Angels. As you may or may not know, the team moves into a new ballpark next season. And if you're looking to do some advertising with the team, give us a call, 735-5496. We have plenty of marketing opportunities for you, so get involved, jump on board, and join the Angels team in our marketing group. Giannotti from the left side. First pitch will be inside. 1 ball, no strikes. Lance Berkman has hit 8 home runs in the second round of the home run derby. Barry Bonds only hit 3, so Bonds is eliminated. Berkman will be advancing to the finals as both Rafael Palmeiro and Miguel Tejada have yet to take their shots in round 2 of the home run derby. So we'll keep you posted here on SportsJuice.com. The 2-0 pitch, outside part of the plate, 2-1 to Giannotti. Richard Giannotti, a 38th round draft pick out of the University of Miami. Got great speed on the base paths. He's a great outfielder, and he'll bloop one into center for a base hit. So Sherman's breaking pitch hangs just a little too much. Giannotti gets underneath it, drops it into center field for a leadoff single. But again, Giannotti with very good speed on first base. We'll keep our eye on him. And here's hot-hitting Nate Sutton. Nate grounded out to third in his first at-bat. A .526 average on the road this year. And a 13-game hitting streak entering this contest. Nate the Great from the left. Sherman coming in with the pitch, and it'll be low. 1 ball, no strike. Nate Sutton out of Santa Cruz, California, went to UC Santa Barbara. Was a very good ball. Gets this sign, and this pitch is going to be looped into left field, and now coming on is going to be Alexander Bautista. So Sutton trying to go opposite field right there, but the left fielder Bautista was in on it, and that'll be the first out here in the third. So Sutton starts off the game 0 for 2. It's the first time this season that Nate has started off the game 0 for 2. Sean Rodriguez, the number 3 hitter, digs in. Rodriguez walked in the first inning. Giannotti at first base. Sherman delivering this pitch. Jam is going to be popped into right field, and coming on will be Brian McFall. Giannotti now has to get back to first, and he is safe. Barely. Brian McFall kind of jumping up and down in right field because he thought he had gunned him, but Giannotti was between second and first. The ball was hit into shallow right. But out of the way, 2 outs. Giannotti has to stay at first. And the 4-hitter, Cliff Remele, comes in. Idaho Falls 4, the Provo Angels 1, as it's game 1 of this quick 2-game series between the Chukars. Remele, a left-handed batter out of Georgia Tech. First pitch by Sherman will be outside, 1-0. Cliff Remele grounded out to second, has been hitting the ball very well in his last 7 or 8 games. Giannotti waits at first base. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Inside, 2-0. Sun still shining. A lot of the shadows from the trees out beyond the ballpark. Actually, behind the press box, there's a little park, I believe, called Highland Park. So a lot of those trees, the shadows are starting to creep onto the field. 2-0 to Remele. This pitch sent into right field. McFall going to go back. It looks like he's going to get underneath it, and that will end the inning. So the Angels getting on base to start things off, but 3 straight flyouts in the inning. We head to the bottom of the third. Idaho Falls 4, and the Provo Angels 1.
Austin Colson and Michaela Colson. Austin and Michaela head down to the United Dairyman customer service window and prepare for tonight's Domino's Dizzy Bat Race. Now time for tonight's first chip and drive contest. Dustin Cooper.
Thank you, Tim Haggerty. I'm Dexter with Carl, who's going to participate in car sales chip and drive challenge. Just for playing, Carl's won a free t-shirt. And if he's not successful, he wins $10,000 towards a new car courtesy of Earth. Are you ready, Carl? Alright. Carl also got a ticket tonight for Westmark Credit Union. So thank you to Westmark, especially if Carl can make it. Cheer Carl on. Oh, nice try, Carl. You still win a t-shirt at Kurt's Car Sales, where every day is a sale day.
Once again, a couple of prizes to be given away from Westmark. Ticket number 0291 and ticket number 0697.
Bottom of the third inning, it's time to look over the Angels organizational reports. Basically looking over games that went on last night as the Colonels defeating Wisconsin by a score of 6-4. And the big story there was Billy Boyer, who started off this year with the Angels, had himself his first home run at the single-A level, drove in 3 runs, as the Colonels defeated Wisconsin last night 6-4. First pitch going to be popped back by Brian McFall, 0-1. So the Colonels defeating Wisconsin as they play the first of 3 games in Wisconsin beginning tonight. 0-1 pitch. It's going to be right over the plate, 0-2 to McFall. Out on Rancho Cucamonga, the Quakes defeat the Oaks by a score of 6-1. Eric Ibar with 2 home runs also added a double in that game. The 0-2 pitch is going to be outside to McFall. Ibar, who played with the Provo Angels last year, having a good game for Rancho Cucamonga as they defeat the Oaks by a score of 6-1. 1-2 count is lifted into the gap of left center. Giannotti will cut it off. Brian McFall, a single to start the inning off. So Ronnie Ray, now he's given up 5 hits, and he's walked 4 batters. And this is not the Ronnie Ray that we've seen throughout the first part of this season. As these Idaho Fall batters are hitting him with authority. McFall at first, and now Dartmouth University grad Edward Lucas steps in. Lucas lined out to left field in the second inning. First pitch, it'll be inside, a ball and no strikes. And then finally last night, the Stingers out in Las Vegas, they defeat the 51ers 10-7 as 5 guys had 3 hits for the Stingers in that contest. Jake Woods picked up the win. Woods, another Provo Angels product. Lucas takes one inside again, 2-0. So that's a quick look over the Angels system. Also, the Arkansas Travelers, they had an off day yesterday as they get set to take on the Wichita Wranglers. 2 balls, no strikes. Lucas from the right side at first base is Brian McFall. And this pitch is going to miss the strike zone. It's a bit high, 3-0. The Angels have some activity going on down in the bullpen. We'll let you know who that is in just a moment. 3-0 count to Lucas. And it'll be a strike down the middle, 3-1. Most of the pitchers on the Provo Angels team have struggled this year. There's really only 3 or 4 guys who have some solid numbers. The runner is going, doesn't matter because Lucas heads over to first base with a walk as another pitch is high and inside. McFall at second base, Lucas at first, and Mario Lison gets set. And I'm sure if Ronnie Ray finds himself in another jam, they will make a call to the bullpen as they have activity going on. Again, I'll let you know who that is in just a moment. Runners at second and first, nobody out. Bottom of the third inning. The Chukars with 4 runs, the Angels with 1, and Lison takes a strike. Mario in his second season of professional baseball. .271 hitter this year. Hit .290 last year in Arizona. The 0-1 by Ronnie Ray. This one swung through and missed. No balls, 2 strikes. Bottom of the third here at McDermott Field. Game 1 of a 2-game series with the Chukars. The next time the Angels will come out here to Idaho Falls, it'll be the beginning of August. The 0-2 pitch by Ronnie is going to be outside, 1-2 to Mario. Tonight, the Ogden Raptors are out in Casper, Wyoming, taking on the Rockies, while Billings is at Helena and Great Falls playing out in Missoula. Ronnie Ray delivers, and again, it's going to be outside. Ben Johnson does a good job of keeping it in front of him as it's wide, and that'll even things up at 2-2. Miguel Tejada at bat right now in the home run derby. He's hit 6 home runs in the second round, as his teammate Rafael Palmeiro will bat next. 2 balls, 2 strikes. It'll be high, 3-2 to Mario. This might be it. If Ronnie Ray puts this runner on base, you're going to see a call to the bullpen. As you can just get the sense that Kochman is on his toes right now. The 3-2 pitch. It'll be high, and heading over to first base is Mario Lison. Home plate umpire asking if he went. He didn't, and sure enough, here comes Tom Kochman, as he's going to make a slow trip out to the mound. He's got paper in hand, looks towards the bullpen, and that looks like it'll be it. He'll make the call. So the Idaho Falls Chukars have the bases loaded, nobody out, and Ronnie Ray being taken out of the game. Idaho Falls 4, and the Provo Angels 1. We'll be back.
It's the United Dairyman customer service window, and prepare for tonight's Disney Bat Race.
Cordova. Almost guaranteeing is Cordova.
All Idaho Falls Chukars games can be heard live on KUPI 988 AM. When you can't make it to the ballpark or when the team is on the road, listen to your station for Chukars baseball. KUPI 988 AM. This call from the bullpen brought to you by U.S. Cellular. Fans, look out for flying frisbees, courtesy of U.S. Cellular. Now pitching for the Provo Angels, number 37, Francisco Cordova. Fans, turn to page 11 of your game program. If there's a signature by Chukars player Brian Menza, you have won prizes courtesy of LA Weight Loss, Fanatics, and Optical Illusions. Stop by the United Dairyman customer service booth to pick up your prizes.
Back out here at Idaho Falls. Bottom of the third inning, and Tom Kochman has made a pitching change. Now on for the Angels, it's going to be the right-hander, Francisco Cordova. Let's quickly look over his situational stats on the year as Cordova has struggled, actually was taken out of the starting rotation and thrown in the bullpen. Overall this year, Cordova has faced 56 batters. On the road, though, Cordova has had most of his struggles. 5 innings, he's given up 15 hits and 14 runs. Opponents have hit .500 against him on the road. Let's see how he fares against the Idaho Falls Chukars here with the bases loaded, nobody out in the bottom of the third. Rusty Brown from the right side. Cordova with the first pitch. Cordova, and it'll be a ball inside, 1-0. Francisco earlier this season was playing in the Mexican League. Back out in Mexico, he only made a couple of appearances. The 1-0. And it's going to be over the plate, 1-1. Cordova, who played 2 seasons of minor league ball in Mexico, but that doesn't come up in the stat books. Basically, he made it to the Mexican major leagues, but in our mind, it's considered a AAA league. And this one will be outside, 2-1. So Cordova picked up by the Angels, and here he is starting off his professional career in the U.S. with Provo. 2 balls, 1 strike, bases loaded, nobody out. Brown from the right side, and he'll take one outside, 3-1. McFall is at third base, Ed Lucas at second, Mario Lison at first. The Idaho Falls Chukars with a 4-1 lead. Cordova getting set. This one is drilled down the left field line, but it's going to be foul. Fills the count up at 3-2. Good piece of hitting by Brown, but he just pulled it as he was in front of the pitch. So he's going to have to do it again. Bases loaded, full counts. And to quickly update you in that home run derby, Miguel Tejada has hit 12 home runs in the second round, and he's still up, as he looks like he wants to advance and take on Lance Berkman in the finals. Brown waiting, the 3-2 pitch, fouled back and over the press box to keep things full at 3-2. Cordova from Mexico, playing a couple years of minor league baseball in Mexico. made it to the big leagues in Mexico before the Angels signed him up. 3 balls, 2 strikes. We'll do it again. The pitch grounded to Rodriguez at short. He'll step on second, goes to first for 1, gets the double play, but McFall will come home to score. So the Chukars now on top 5-1, but a huge out right there as Cordova forces the 6-3 double play. So Cordova, who has struggled on the road this year, comes in and gets a huge double play right there. Lucas now at third base, 2 outs, and Felipe Del Rosario, who doubled in 2 runs in the second inning, comes in. First pitch is going to be inside of the right-hander, 1-0. Out here at McDermott Field in the broadcast booth, it's a beautiful night. Not too much of a breeze as we're sweating like sardines in a can up here at the press box, but it's all right. Next pitch to Del Rosario's a ball, 2-0. This ballpark situated inside of a lovely community and good place for a stadium, I would say. Foul ball into the parking lot. The parking lot here at McDermott Field is located down the right field side. So when I said foul into the parking lot, you know it's down the right field line. Cars are right next to the action, so I'm sure throughout the course of the season, a number of cars have themselves some broken windshields. Cordova throwing a breaking ball, but it doesn't quite catch the plate as it's now 3-1 to the 9-hitter. Cordova set, and again foul back. That'll fill things up at 3-2. Some fans maybe get a souvenir. Nope, as it goes just over the outer wall here. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. McDermott Field, the lights are turned on, even though still plenty of sunshine out. As you know, minor league parks have to get these lights warmed up early. 3-2, low and outside. Del Rosario heading over to first base with a walk. Runners at the corners, and now they got to face off against Geraldo Valentin. He already has a single and an RBI triple in the first 2 innings. What's he going to give us here in the third? The Angels actually took an early lead by scoring on a JRN single, but the Chukars came back with 4 runs in the second. They put a run on the board here in the third, and Valentin takes the ball 1-0 as he has runners at the corners. If you're thinking about getting involved with the Provo Angels marketing group, give us a call, 735-5496. Plenty of great opportunities for you and your business to be involved with the Angels. Valentin, base hit off the end of his bat, and it goes into right field. So coming home to score is going to be Ed Lucas, and it's now 6-2. So Valentin, 3 hits in his first 3 innings this game. It wasn't a clean piece of hitting. He was late on the ball, but just barely hit it off the end of the bat as it rolled past the second baseman, Joshua LeBlanc. So an RBI single for Valentin. It's now 6-1. Del Rosario has to stop at second, and Eddie Solis at the bat. Solis, a strikeout in the first, walked in the second, was stranded at third base, and Cordova's pitch is outside for a ball. Bottom of the third inning, just about a third of the way through this contest, as the Angels now trail by 5 runs. The 1-0 is going to be low, 2 balls, no strikes. So after the Angels had a 4-game winning streak, Casper came into town. The Angels committed more errors than they had hits in that game and ended up losing to Casper. And then last night's power shortage stopped them from possibly picking up a victory. Solis fouls it into the parking lot. 2 balls and a strike. And now tonight, Idaho falls with 6 runs on 6 hits. So the Angels have some work to do this game if they want to get themselves over 500. The 2-1 pitch, and it looks like he is going to take it for a strike. Even things at 2-2. Solis trying to pull back on a high pitch, but he ends up crossing the plate as 2s are now on the board. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Cordova, the right-hander, and getting the sign from Ben Johnson. Here's the 2-2 pitch. And it'll be low and outside to fill things up. Solis trying to see if he can get himself on base and set things up for Alexander Bautista. Runners are out the first and second. Here's the pitch. Base hit by Solis into right field, but Renz is going to come up with the ball, but he then bobbles it. Renz was going to attempt to make a throw home, and you know anytime the ball hits a JR, it's going to be trouble, but it looked like he kicked it off of his foot and bounced away. Solis will get an RBI single, and it's now 7-1. Solis, an RBI, 2-out base hit. Felipe Del Rosario coming home scoring. Valentin at third. Solis at first, and now Bautista comes in. And it's unfortunate. The Angels have had such good teams in the past, and Tom Kochman has done such a fine job molding these guys and giving them opportunities to play. Bautista takes a strike. A lot of guys in the big leagues were scouted by Kochman and played for him. And here we are in Provo. The pitching is just struggling. And Kochman can't do anything about it. This pitch cutting the outside part of the plate, 0-2. But thank goodness for two halves, as if the Angels can't do it here in the first half, there's always the second half. But it is a tight race right now in the South Division. Every single team tied up. Grounder to Rodriguez, and it's going to get past him at short into center field. So that's a tough play for the shortstop to come up with, as it skipped right past him. So Bautista with an RBI single.
16, Billy Butler.
And once again, the Chukars scoring 4 runs. They put 4 on the board in the second. Now 4 runs here in the third. Solis taking third base. Bautista with an RBI, his second of the game. 8-1, Idaho Falls Chukars. Runners still at the corners for Billy Butler, who was the 9th man to come up and bat in the second inning, and he's the 9th man to come to the bat here in the third. Butler struck out looking in the second inning. First pitch by Cordova. Cordova will be outside, 1-0. McGill Tejada, 14 home runs in the second round of tonight's home run derby, and again, we'll keep you posted on that, as it looks like he'll take on Lance Berkman. The 1-0 pitch right back to Cordova on the mound as he actually ducked his head, but he found a special baseball in his glove. That's always a scary play, but he threw his glove out, turned his head, and, well, what do you know, he gets the third out. However, the Chukars scoring 4 more runs. They strand 2. We head to the top of the fourth. Idaho Falls 8, and the Provo Angels 1. Point. But obviously, you know, I would think that they understand their baseball, you know. Okay, so they called you back. They called you back in March? Yeah, no, I signed up by in December. And they said you got the job? You want it? Cool. You were already basically committed to these guys for a while.
Tonight's Arena baseball trivia question. Answer the answer, fill in the entry form on the scorecard, and drop it off at the United Dairyman customer service window. Here's the question. Tonight is Major League Baseball's home run derby. Name the only player to win more than 2 home run derbies. More lucky ticket numbers, courtesy of Westmark. Ticket number 0524.
Top of the fourth inning, the Provo Angels having to play some comeback baseball as they are down by 7 runs midway through this contest. This date in baseball history, 1997, July 12th in Pittsburgh, the first non-opening day sellout crowd for the Pirates since 1977. The crowd witnesses a combined no-hitter by Francisco Cordova and Ricardo Ricon. First pitch to Toussaint. It'll be lifted down the left field line. Giving chase is going to be Bautista, but he kind of overruns the ball as it bounces foul. So Toussaint takes a strike. But this date, 1997, the Pirates have a sellout crowd. It's the first sellout crowd since 1977, and Francisco Cordova pitches a no-hitter. A great game, as the Pirates at that point are tied for first place. It is one of 4 no-hitters thrown on this date in baseball history. Toussaint takes the pitch inside, 1-1. The other no-hitters thrown on July 12th. Melito Perez of the White Sox throws a rain-shortened 6-inning no-hitter as the White Sox defeat the Yankees 8-0. Toussaint takes the ball outside, 2-1. The other no-hitter is thrown by Ali Reynolds of the Yankees, who throws his second of the season. He no-hits the Indians 1-0. 2-1 pitch. That'll be popped up into the parking lot here at McDermott Field. As it'll bounce around, some fans will give it chase. It's now 2 balls and 2 strikes. And the other no-hitter thrown on this date in baseball history, you got to go all the way back to 1900, is Frank Noodles Hahn of Cincinnati. No-hits the Philadelphia A's by a score of 4-0, becoming the first no-hitter in the 20th century. 2-2 pitch to Toussaint. Takes it inside. 3 balls and 2 strikes here in the top of the 4th inning. The infield is completely covered in the shadows. Left fielder Alexander Bautista is in the shadows, but if he was to run towards the field, he'd get himself in sunlight. Toussaint will take one low. He heads to first with a leadoff walk. So Toussaint led off the 2nd inning with the walk, and now has led off the 4th inning with a walk. And let's see if the Angels can make something happen. Justin Sherman obviously has some support as he has a 7-run lead as he looks to pick up his 5th win of the season. Ben Johnson, 3 hits in 28 at-bats against right-handers this year. Switch hitter, batting from the left. Here's the pitch. This one is popped to the second baseman, Eddie Solis. He'll go back into the grass, and he will make the play with ease. He had a kind of back run it a little bit. Johnson, though, was retired as he continues his struggles, and Joshua LeBlanc comes in. Angel fans, if you're looking to purchase your tickets and you don't want to go to the ballpark, but you'd rather get them over the phone, give us a call, 422-8225, $8 Superbox tickets, and $6 for reserved and festival tickets. Also, kids get in for $4, and seniors get in for $4 as well. LeBlanc batting from the left. This pitch going to be lifted into left field. Bautista, though, will find the baseball in his glove as he gets underneath it. Now there are 2 outs. It's an 8-1 Idaho Falls lead. The Angels scored first in this contest. They put a run on the board in the 2nd on the JRN's RBI single, but the Chukars came back with 4 in the bottom of the 2nd, and then 4 more in the bottom of the 3rd. JRN's first pitch from Sherman is going to be popped up into left field. Bautista gives a chase. Now Geraldo Valentin, the center fielder, backs him up, and that'll end the inning. So 3 straight pitches to Ben Johnson, LeBlanc, and Renz, and they chase, all popping outs. Toussaint stranded at first. We head to the bottom of the 4th. Chukars 8, and the Angels 1.
From the Idaho Lottery. Fans, turn to page 28 of your game program. It's designed by Chukars player Darwinson Salazar. You won prizes courtesy of Brownstone Restaurant and Gandolfo's. Stop by the customer service booth to pick up your prizes.
Out of 15. I think that's a new record. 14 was the old record for
Now time for the Domino's Dizzy Mat Race.
Dude, he hit one
sending down to our friend Kyle Anderson.
497. That boy's underrated, man.
And they're going to participate. So, we go to Cincinnati.
With a middle bat. And that's in inches, not in feet. That's strong.
Cheer for Austin. Let's hear it.
No, he's going to the finals. He'll face off against Burke.
Tonight's contestants for the Chillin' with Eggs and Frozen T-shirt contest. 14-year-old Blake Cruz and 15-year-old Patsy Huntley head to the United Dairyman customer service window and prepare for tonight's Chillin' with Eggs and Frozen T-shirt contest. A lot of Chukars fans celebrating birthdays here tonight. How about a nice happy 75th birthday to...
Back out here in Idaho Falls, bottom of the fourth inning. It's going to be Brian McFall, Edward Lucas, and Mario Lison, the batters, as Francisco Cordova on the mound. And let's see what he can do against the Chukars. It is an 8-1 Idaho Falls lead. And in just a couple seconds, we'll give you our Angels trivia question. So get your email ready to go, as I expect some emails from you guys. First pitch to McFall is going to be popped into foul grounds. Remele going to reach over the stands. Does he get the ball? And he does. So Remele reaching over the tarp, gloved in the crowd, and is able to make the play. It's a fine play by the first baseman. A lot of guys wouldn't attempt that, but Remele does. One gone, and now Edward Lucas comes in. All right, guys, drop me an email, jpeters@provoangels.com. Only 3 Angel players have ever collected 200 hits in a single season. Drop me an email. Let me know who you think the only 3 players are. You don't need to give me their hit totals, but I do want to know a little bit, find out their years. But obviously, if you know the years, you know the hit total. So go ahead and give me the names, and I'll let you know if you're correct. Again, that email is jpeters@provoangels.com. Lucas with a 1-1 count against him. Cordova's pitch, it'll be a breaking ball over. And now Lucas is down to the count 1-2. The 1-2 pitch, and it's going to be low, 2-2. We'll give out the answers in the bottom of the 5th. And we might have time for one more Angels trivia question as well. So again, that's jpeters@provoangels.com. 2 balls and 2 strikes here in the bottom of the 4th. Ground ball, base hit past the first baseman, Remele. So Lucas going to the opposite field. Remele can't make 2 great plays in a row. It's a clean single for Lucas. And now Mario Lison comes in. He has walked twice. 8 runs on 9 hits for Idaho Falls. They've collected 66 hits in their last 5 games, and they're looking to do even more damage here. Mario Lison at the bat. First pitch is going to be low for a ball. 1-0 count. Lison walked in the 2nd inning, eventually scored a run. Walked in the 3rd inning, but was a part of that 6-3 double play. Francisco Cordova with the runner at first. A ground ball would be huge. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Low in the dirt, 2-0. But again, the Idaho Falls Chukars with 66 hits in the last 5 games. That's an average of like 11.5 a game. 12 hits a game. Something like that. I don't know my math. Today, they've already collected 9 hits. And Lison has a 3-0 count against him. The Chukars Here at McDermott Field, trying to make something happen in front of the home crowd. The 3-0 pitch is over the plate, 3-1. Chukars with 6 wins and 4 losses at home. Their ERA has been high at home, but they've also hit the ball with authority. Cordova's next pitch is over the plate, and that'll fill things up. So after Lison had the count 3-0 against him, Cordova's able to sneak a couple strikes in there. And the count's full. Lison has to approach this pitch a little differently than he did the other two. The 3-2 on its way, swing and a miss. Cordova coming back, strikes out Lison for out number 2. And now Russell Brown comes in.
Number 33, Rusty Brown.
McGill Tejada with 15 home runs in the second round of the home run derby. Believe has set a new record. 14 was the previous record, I believe held by Mark McGuire. We'll double check on that, but Tejada, 15 as he'll be taking on Lance Berkman in the finals. First pitch to Brown is going to be over the plate. 0-1. Bottom of the 4th inning, 8-1. The Idaho Falls Chukars on top. Cordova came in last inning, trying to clean up Ronnie Ray's mess. The 0-1 is going to be a ball to even things up at a ball and a strike. Good amount of fans out here at Idaho Falls today, and it's a Monday night. I wonder if the Chukars have a family night. Maybe they do, I don't know, but there's a good amount of fans. Brown foul ball left field side as it's going to go out of play over to Highland Park. The Chukars on the season they've only been they've averaged actually about 1,700 fans this year. They have nearly a sold-out crowd tonight. Brown, 1 ball, 2 strikes against him. Lucas is at first base with 2 outs on the board. Cordova gets the sign from Ben Johnson. Breaking ball outside, 2-2. Brown is 0 for 2 today. He's 2 for 25 against right-handers on the season. He has struggled against righties. And overall, he has a 161 batting average. The 2-2 pitch, grounded right to Rodriguez, backhand from his knees, and he's going to have no play. He recovered the ball, but he looked like he almost stumbled getting onto his feet. Didn't even attempt the throw, so we'll wait and see what the scoring is. But Brown is at first base. That'll be an infield single. And Rodriguez just kind of mixed up, didn't know where he wanted to go with the play. Lucas at second, Brown at first. Del Rosario digs in from the right. Cordova has to force another ground ball now. And this one will be a ball outside, 1-0. Del Rosario, 273 hitter on the season. Played last year in the Arizona League with the Royals. And now Cordova steps off the mound. So the shadows are almost completely covering the playing field except a long strip that goes from left field to right field. Everybody's in the shadows except J.R. Renz in right. Strike, 1-1 to count. McDermott Field, high walls in the outfield. We saw Chris Walston hit a home run over the scoreboard last time we were out here. And Del Rosario takes another strike, 1-2. In fact, the last time the Angels were out here, just about a week and a half ago, that's when they played that great ball game in which J.R. Renz was the hero. They brought home 3 runs in the bottom of the 7th to win it, as the Angels were playing the home team in the second game of a doubleheader. Cordova's pitch cuts the outside part of the plate. Good breaking ball. Del Rosario heads back with the strikeout, and 2 Chukars are stranded. We head to the top of the 5th. Angels down by 7. Let's see what they can do with 5 innings left to play.
Chukar will be giving out free clothes. You'll get a free T-shirt from Charlie. Courtesy of Brady. Fans turn to page 5 of your game program. If it is signed by Mario Lison, you've won prizes courtesy of Parcel Express, Jamba Juice, A-Frame, Grandpa's Southern Barbecue, and Soul Rio. Stop by the United Dairyman Customer Service booth to pick up your prizes. Couple more lucky ticket numbers. Westmark ticket number 1185, 1185. Also Westmark ticket number 0299, 0299. Ticket number 010.
Top of the 5th inning, the Provo Angels to send up Michael Perdomo, Richard Giannotti, and Nate Sutton. You're listening to Angels Baseball here on SportsJuice.com. If you want to be a sponsor of Provo Angel Webcasts, no matter where you are in the U.S., give us a call, 801-735-5496. We'd love to give you more information on sponsoring Provo Angel Webcasts. If you're a business owner, you sell products, we would give you PA announcements during every Angels home game. Also, we would give you recognition over the internet on SportsJuice.com. And be sure to plug you as much as we can during the game. We'd like to thank Mark and Nancy Takis of Pacific Palisades for sponsoring Provo Angel Webcasts here in the 2004 season. First pitch to Perdomo, ground ball to the shortstop. Backhand by Lucas, throws to first, and that'll be an out. So Perdomo grounds out for the first one, and now Richard Giannotti makes his way in. And we check the stats in the home run derby, and it is official. Miguel Tejada with 15 home runs in round 2 is a new record. Albert Pujols had 14 in 2003. Giambi had 14 home runs in one round in 2001. And Mark McGuire had 13 in 1999. So those are the top 3 in one round. Tejada at the bat right now as he's battling Berkman for the home run derby crown this year. 0-1 to Giannotti. Sherman's pitch, changeup. Fools Giannotti, he swings through it. No balls, 2 strikes here in the 5th. Berkman hit 4 home runs in the final round. Now Tejada is at the bat, and he has yet to hit any. Giannotti takes one inside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Idaho falls 8 runs on 10 hits. The Provo Angels 1 run on 3 hits, as it's the first game of a quick 2-game series between the Chukars. Sherman throwing it low, and it's 2-2. Justin Sherman's only given up 3 hits through the first 4 1/3 innings, as he's in line to pick up his 5th victory of the season. And Giannotti barely gets a piece of it and fouls it, 2-2. And obviously we're only in the 5th inning, but anytime a team has a 7-run lead like the Chukars do, and they're playing the type of baseball they have been playing, then it's going to be hard for Provo to make a comeback. The 2-2 pitch is high. That'll fill things up. Has 3 balls and 2 strikes. The Idaho Fall Chukars on the season, they are 8-3 when leading after 5 innings. Giannotti will swing and miss for round number 2. They did lose 3 after leading, so we'll see what happens in this contest. And Nate Sutton, a ground out in the first, popped out in the 3rd inning. 13-game hitting streak on the line for Nate. He's been on base a handful of times, about 32 times in his first 13 professional games. Nate's base hit up the middle, past the second baseman, Eddie Solis. So he continues his hitting streak. So Geraldo Valentin, Eddie Solis, and Nate Sutton all extend their 13-game hitting streaks, as they are now all with 14-game streaks. As a 2-out base hit by Nate Sutton through the middle puts him on first. And the only other guy in the league right now with a higher hitting streak is Blake DeWitt of the Arlington Raptors. He has a 15-game hitting streak as he tries to make it 16 tonight in Casper. Sutton running, and there's going to be no throw by Del Rosario as Sutton steals the base with ease. Nate's the type of guy that's going to try to make things happen. Even if the other guys on the team aren't hitting the ball, Sutton's going to steal bases, try to get on, try to make it exciting, and try to will his team to a come-from-behind victory. 1-0 to Rodriguez. The next one by Sherman is outside. Nate Sutton at UC Santa Barbara stole 30 bases this year, scored 71 runs in about 50 games. He was all over the place at the collegiate level. Here he is with the Angels all over the place. 2-0 to Rodriguez. 415 hitter. He walked in the first. Sherman, with 2 outs on the board, looks towards second. Now comes in, and it'll be a strike. 2-1. Right now, Miguel Tejada has just hit his 4th home run in the home run derby, as both him and Berkman now have 4 apiece. One more by Tejada will give him the victory in this year's 2004 Century 21 Home Run Derby. 2-1 count. Rodriguez waiting. Sherman's pitch. Nice. Inside part of the plate. Breaking ball. Rodriguez thought it was going to be in a bit, but instead it's over the plate. 2-2. Justin Sherman with 2 wins against the Angels this year. Wants to make it 3 wins against Provo. He right now leads the league with 4. The 2-2 pitch, swing and a miss, Rodriguez. And now it looks like he got a piece of it as a foul, so he will stay alive at 2-2. Looks like Felipe Del Rosario dropped the foul ball. He must have just barely got a piece of it. Nate Sutton has to get back to second base. We're in the top of the 5th. The Idaho Fall Chukars have scored 4 runs in the second and 4 runs in the third, while the Angels only have 1 lone run, and that came on a JRN's RBI single back in the 2nd inning. 2-2 pitch. Rodriguez resting the bat on his shoulders, and now he's going to foul that ball. Looks like off of his foot. He has to walk it off, and again keeps the count at 2-2. Rodriguez hit .250 with Cedar Rapids the first couple of months this season, but then was sent down to Provo in late June. And Billy Boyer was called up to Cedar Rapids. And Rodriguez is a good hitter. He has a great glove at short. Hits the ball with authority, but they sent him down for a little more seasoning. He'll take it outside, 3-2. So full count, Nate Sutton at second base. Sean Rodriguez, one of the better hitters in the league, is at the bat. And now the catcher, Felipe Del Rosario, will jog out to the mound to quickly talk strategy with Sherman. And it is official. Miguel Tejada has won the home run derby over Lance Berkman. As he's still at the bat, but he's hit 5. Berkman was only able to hit 4, so it is over. Tejada winning this year's home run derby. 3-2 count to Rodriguez. The pitch, he'll swing through that one. He'll head back with a strikeout. So the Angels trying to get something started, but they just can't find the zone as Sutton continues his hitting streak, but he is stranded. We head to the bottom of the 5th. Chukars 8 and the Provo Angels 1.
John Long, please go to the United Dairymen customer service window and prepare for tonight's Texas Roadhouse dice roll. Outside for the game that is sweeping the nation, it's the Chillin' with Hang 10 Frozen T-shirt contest. Kyle.
What is better than a frozen t-shirt on a day like today? Not a lot. So down here we have Nikki and Blake. Blake's a little bit bigger than Nikki, so I'm going to say everybody cheer for Shaky tonight.
Bill Edwards, I think, or Casey Mutter.
Where the customers
Mutter. It is Mutter.
From A10 and Hilary. So let's cheer. 1, 2, 3, go! There you go. The best way to compete.
This call from the bullpen brought to you by U.S. Cellular. Fans, look out for flying frisbees, courtesy of U.S. Cellular. Now pitching for the Angels, number 19, Casey Mutter. Win big at Fort Hall Casino, 900 electronic gaming machines, high stakes bingo, great food, great fun. Exit 80 off I-15.
Back out here at McDermott Field, home of the Idaho Fall Chukars, and the Chukars are leading your Provo Angels by a score of 8-1. We are in the bottom of the fifth, and Tom Koshman has made another call to the bullpen as he has brought in the right-hander Casey Mutter. So Mutter will be facing off against the 1, 2, and 3 hitters, 3 of the toughest hitters on this Idaho Falls team. Mutter enters the game 5 games. He's pitched in 8 in the third innings. Mutter has faced 43 batters. He's given up 10 hits, 10 runs, and 8 walks. Opponents hitting just under 300 against Mutter. Casey from the right side, Valentine steps in. He's 3 for 3 today as he's continued his hitting streak to 14 games. First pitch is inside for a ball. Valentine singled in the first, tripled homer run in the second inning and would score a run, and then singled homer run in the third inning and would score a run. So he's 3 for 3 with a couple of ribbies and a couple of runs. 2 balls, no strikes. Valentine waits. He'll pop this into center field. Giannotti floats back, and he'll get underneath it for out number 1. And Valentine, surprisingly enough, even though he's 3 for 3 in this game, he has not been that good of a hitter at home this year, so it's surprising that he was able to hit Ronnie Ray. 1 out, Eddie Solis, the other guy who extends his hitting streak to 14 games. Solis struck out in the first, walked in the second, and singled homer run in the third. First pitch on the outside part of the plate, 0-1. So tonight's home plate umpire being generous and giving that outside strike to these Angel pitchers. Next one is in the dirt, 1-1. We'll go ahead and check over the emails right now and find out if anybody's a winner for our trivia question we gave you guys last inning. Solis taking a strike, 1 and 2. Again, the trivia question was, name the only 3 Angel players to ever collect 200 hits in a single season. The 1-2 by Mutter. It'll be popped back to the parking lot. 1 and 2. So we'll just open up the emails right now and get those answers from some of you. Eddie Solis, a 397 hitter. One of the top averages in the league. He'll take a strike, though, inside part of the plate, and Solis turns his head, heads back to the dugout as he is out number 2. Here in the bottom of the fifth.
Number 24, Alexander Bautista.
Alexander Bautista comes in. Quickly, 2 gone. First time that 2 straight batters have been retired for the Angels. And the first pitch to Bautista is low, 1-0. Chukars team with 10 hits. They've walked, it looks like, 7 times in the game, so they have had their struggles. Casey Mutter getting set. Here's the pitch. Broken back to the first baseman, Remele. Now it bounces off of him, quickly recovers, flips behind his back, but the runner's going to be safe. So the ground ball right to Remele, but he bounced it, deflect off of him, tried to flip behind his back, but Bautista will be safe, and that'll be an error. In E3, Bautista is on.
Number 16, Billy Butler.
All right, we're going to go ahead and focus our attention to Deborah Arnold. Deborah Arnold sent me an email. She's the proud mother of Mitch Arnold, one of the top closers in the Pioneer League, and She told me that Garrett Anderson, Darren Erstad, and Alex Johnson, the only 3 Angel players to ever collect 200 hits, and she is exactly right. Except Erstad's year is wrong. Erstad actually, it wasn't in 2002, Deborah. It was in 2000 that Erstad had 240 hits. The first player besides Wade Boggs in like 60 years to get 240 hits. And then Garrett Anderson and Alex Johnson are the other 2. So congratulations to Deborah, proud mother of Mitch Arnold, as we'll give you the respect when your son comes out and pitches later on. 2 balls, no strikes to Billy Butler. Runner at first base is Alexander Bautista. Casey Mutter comes in with the pitch, grounder right to short. Rodriguez will sidearm it to, Rodriguez will sidearm it to second. Get the force out, and that ends the inning. So the Chukars unable to do anything here. We head to the top of the 6th. Idaho falls 8, and the Provo Angels 1.
Fans, turn to page 12 of your game program. If it is signed by Chukars player Jake McConaughey, you won a prize courtesy of Intermountain Donor. Stop by the United Dairyman Customer Service booth to pick up your prize. That's also where we're sending Jeff Bueller, because Jeff correctly guessed tonight's Johnny Carino's baseball trivia question. Ken Griffey Jr., the correct answer. And tonight's movie buff is Aaron Mortensen. Aaron correctly guessed Dodgeball, a true underdog story. A couple more Westmark lucky ticket numbers. 0760. You just picked up a new grill. 0724. Just got yourself a new chair. And 1097. 1097. Also picking up a new chair, courtesy of Westmark. Again, if your number was called throughout tonight's game, head to the United Dairyman customer service window and pick up your prize, courtesy of Westmark.
Top of the 6th inning, Idaho falls 8 runs on 10 hits. Provo Angels 1 run on 10 hits. And Angel fans, don't forget you can log on to futureangels.com and find out a little more about the best in the Angels farm system. All the great articles, interviews. You can even listen to Angel minor league games via the internet on futureangels.com. Listen to most of the teams do webcast their contests. So visit futureangels.com. Tomorrow's heroes today. Cliff Remillade to lead things off here in the 6th. Justin Sherman on the mound for his 6th inning of work. And the first pitch will be a ball, 1-0. Remillade 0 for 2 today with a ground out and a fly out to right field. Angels with 4 hits in the contest. Remillade, though, lacing one down the right field line, but that'll be foul. So the lefty trying to pull it down the line. Does a good job, but a little bit in front of the ball as it goes foul into the Angels bullpen. A ball and a strike. Remillade, Toussaint, and Ben Johnson here in the 6th. The Angels down to the final 4 innings to make something happen as they trail by 7 runs. 1-1 count. Sherman delivers, and it's inside. 2-1. Justin Sherman entering this game had an ERA over 5. Even though he was 4-0 on the season, he had been giving up about 5 runs every 9 innings he's pitched. Remillade takes a strike, 2-2. But he's been on point today. Only allowing 2 runners to get past first base. One of them scored, the other one was stranded. The 2-2. Remillade will pop this one out to Highland Park behind the stadium, and it keeps things even. Provo Angels playing a quick 2-game series here with the Chukars before heading back home and taking on some North Division teams. Again, Remillade fouls it back. Cliff Remley out of Georgia Tech was a very good hitter at the collegiate level. An 11th round draft pick by the Angels. And again, most collegiate teams, at least D1, they only play about 56 regular season games. Well, Remley had about 60 RBIs at that level. Line drive into the stands down the third base side, but luckily the fans are alert. They duck out of the way. Remley has now fouled off 3 straight pitches. So he's trying to battle Justin Sherman right here with the 2-2 count and nobody out. What does Sherman have up his sleeve? Here comes the 2-2, and again, Remley getting a piece of the inside breaking ball and pulls it foul. Remley, Toussaint, Ben Johnson. They will be the batters this inning. The lights are on here at the ballpark. Sun has dipped below the horizon. Remley pops this one a mile high into right, and Brian McFall will come in to recover. So Remley flies out, 1 gone, and now Andrew Toussaint will step into the box.
Andrew Toussaint.
Go ahead and get on the bandwagon. Start following your Anaheim Angels. They're having a great season this year as Vladimir Guerrero is on pace to possibly win the MVP award. Angels, just a couple games back in the AL West, log on to their website and start following the Anaheim Angels because your Provo Angels are tomorrow's Anaheim Angels. Toussaint takes a strike, 0-1. He's got 2 walks today, and he'll ground this one to the shortstop. Lucas, nice play as he digs it, throws over to first, and Toussaint is out. Lucas giving it on a short hop, scooping, makes the play, and Ben Johnson, the switch-hitting catcher, comes in. In fact, Ben, the only switch-hitting catcher in the Pioneer League, as he came out of the University of Washington. Good collegiate player as well. Hit about 8 home runs as a switch-hitting catcher and also hit over 300. First pitch to Ben, going to be a ball low, 1-0. Johnson, though, again, he's had a difficult time hitting the ball as of late because he had some lower back problems. Aaron Wells, the trainer, he's been working with him quite a bit, trying to figure out what he can do about some of the pains he's experiencing, but all they can really do is let him play and see what happens. It's something that Ben Johnson has had, he says, for about 6 years now. The 2-0 pitch is outside, 3-0. Ben Johnson, a good defensive catcher. That's one thing the Angels might be able to say are strong in this season as minor league catchers. Johnson heads over to first base with a 2-out walk. Jared Abaruzzo over at Rancho Cucamonga. Jeff Mathis catching out there with the Arkansas Travelers. And, of course, Ben Johnson here with the Provo Angels. The Angels in general have some pretty good backstops here in their system. Joshua LeBlanc will step in. He bats from the left side. An infield single in the second inning. LeBlanc has scored the only run for the Angels. Sherman's first pitch will be a ball. Joshua LeBlanc, a career .392 hitter at the collegiate level. Played 3 years at Southern A&M. Picked up by the Angels in the 6th round. And his defense has been questionable since joining Provo. He'll take a strike inside, 1-1. LeBlanc started off the year 1 for 18, but started hitting the ball. His average is now to .269. But his defense is still very shaky. Sherman's next pitch, it'll be low, 2 balls and a strike. Ben Johnson at first base. 2 outs on the board. We're in the top of the 6th. Idaho Falls with 8 runs. The Angels with 1. And LeBlanc will hit a foul ball to Highland Park. 2-2. We'll get you another This Date in Baseball History after this inning is over. So we'll open up the 6th. As we have a couple other interesting this dates in baseball history. Some of my favorite things to talk about on the air. 2-2 to LeBlanc. Grounder off of the glove of Sherman. He's going to have to quickly pick it up, and he's going to have no play at first as it deflected off of him, rolled behind him. Looks like it'll be a hit for LeBlanc, but we'll wait and see what the official scoring is on that. A difficult play. LeBlanc on first base. And it is an infield single. LeBlanc at first. Johnson at second. J.R. Renz at the bat. He had an RBI single in the second and hit the ball hard to left field in the fourth. 8-1 Idaho Falls. It's the first game of a quick two-game series before the Angels head back to Larry H. Miller Field, and we just crossed our cross our fingers and hope that the power is turned on out there. Bottom of the sixth inning. We apologize for the delay as we lost our connection on Sports Juice, but we're back out here. Bottom of the sixth. There's one out on the board, and Ed Lucas has a 2-2 count against him. And it's now full as Casey Mutter gets a pitch on the outside part of the plate, but it's going to be a ball. So full count to Lucas, 8-1. Idaho falls on top, and now Lucas is just walked. So an outside pitch by Mutter. Lucas is on for his third time today as we woke him out back out here to McDermott Field, home of the Idaho Fall Chukars. Mario Lisson to get set to take his at-bats. 8 runs on 10 hits for Idaho Falls. Ronnie Ray is in line for the loss, unless the Provo Angels can make something happen with 9 outs. Lisson, 2 walks today, also struck out. So officially he's 0 for 1. First pitch by Mutter. He'll foul it back. 0-1. Beautiful night out here in Idaho Falls. As finally we're midway through the summer and we're getting nothing but sunshine and heat. Remember the season opened up out in Casper, Wyoming, and the weather was just horrible. About 38 degrees during the first game. And remember, this is short season baseball, so it wasn't like we started in April. It was 38 degrees. The first game was canceled. We had to deal with some rain delays, but here we are finally in the heart of the summertime. 2 balls and 1 strike to Mario. Runner at first base, bottom of the sixth. Zeke Zimmerman now runs out to the mound to talk with Casey Mutter for just 1 moment. Don't forget, fans, to log on to ProvoAngels.com and answer our quick poll questions. Every day, Zach Frazier, the Director of Media Relations, always has a new quick poll question on there. And we'll go ahead and check out if there's any updated quick polls on there now. But ProvoAngels.com, be a part of the Provo Angels and join it. Tonight's quick poll, we're surveying fans right now as to what our new colors should be next year. So the quick poll question is, what are your thoughts? There's 4 different questions for you of what you may want next year's Provo Angel colors to be. So log on, ProvoAngels.com, and get on board. 2-1 counts. Mario Lisson takes the ball low. It's now 3-1. Ronnie Ray started the game off for the Angels, was taken out after the third. Francisco Cordova came on, pitched about an inning and 2/3, and then Casey Mutter has been on since the 5th. However, Mario Lisson has just walked to both runners at first and second.
Number 33,
Zeke Zimmerman, the pitching coach for the Angels, stresses that, hey, if my pitchers are going to get guys on base, then they are going to have to work out of their own mess. So Zeke, Tom Kossman, both of them not necessarily jumping to the bullpen right away. They want to teach their young pitchers how to get out of these kind of jams. That's obviously what the rookie league level is all about. Development, trying to develop these guys how to pitch in the clutch. First pitch to Rusty's going to be a ball inside, 1-0. Casey Mutter has had his struggles this year, but hasn't been as bad as some of the other Angel pitchers have been. The 1-0 is going to be away from the right-hander. It's now 2 balls and no strikes. Mutter overall has a high ERA, but there's a handful of other pitchers who have really struggled this year for Provo. The 2-0 grounded to the third baseman, Nate. He's going to glove it, throws over to second for 1, back to first, and the double play is created. That ends the inning. Nate Sutton only seeing the second ground ball his way this game. He turns the 5-4-3 double play to end it. We head to the top of the 7th. Angels down by 7.
Service provided by the Sports Page Bar and Grill. The Sports Page Bar and Grill delivered food right to the seats of season ticket holders. Fans, turn to page 17 of your game program. If it is signed by one friends, IHOP and Wingers. Stop by the United Dairyman customer service booth to pick up your prizes. This call to the bullpen brought to you by U.S. Cellular. Fans look out for flying frisbees, courtesy of U.S. Cellular. Now pitching for Idaho Falls, number 5, Lucas Palmer. We have a winner in tonight's Olafson Chiropractic Contest, Robin Jaime. Robin, head to the United Dairyman customer service booth and pick up your prize.
Top of the 7th inning out here at McDermott Field. The Idaho Falls Chukars, 8 runs, 10 hits, and 1 error. The Provo Angels, 1 run, 5 hits, and 1 error. Let's go ahead and look at this date in baseball history. We'll give you 2 of them back-to-back. This date, 1996, Minnesota All-Star Kirby Puckett announces his retirement effective immediately because of glaucoma in his right eye. Kirby Puckett was hit by a pitch as he has to announce his retirement. So the great Kirby Puckett, who is now in the Hall of Fame, in 1996, officially announces retirement. So Puckett on this date, 8 years ago, ending his career. Michael Perdomo, Richard Giannotti, and Nate Sutton to go up against the new pitcher for the Idaho Falls Chukars, Lucas Palmer. Perdomo was 0 for 2 today. First pitch will be inside for a ball. Palmer has pitched in 5 games. He's worked 14 innings. He's given up 17 hits, 13 runs, and 4 home runs have been hit off of him. In fact, I believe all 4 of those home runs have come at the extent of the Provo Angels, and they have. All 4 of them have been hit by Angel batters. Perdomo takes a strike, 1-1. Palmer sporting an 8.36 ERA for the Chukars. The 1-1 pitch to Perdomo, he'll foul it back, 1-2. It'll be Perdomo, Giannotti, and Nate Sutton here in the 7th. Idaho Falls 8, the Provo Angels 1. Chukars trying to keep themselves in first place in the South Division. Perdomo will swing through the pitch. He misses, and it is strikeout number 1 here in the 7th. In fact, there's a 4-way tie in the South Division, so 2 teams are going to lose today, and 2 teams are going to win and stay in first place. And it's just amazing how already 22 games into the season, all 4 teams in this division are tied for first place. Michael Hughes now at the bat for the Provo Angels. So it looks like Giannotti has been taken out. Hughes comes in. Giannotti was 1 for 3. Michael Hughes, the pinch hitter. He'll most likely stay in center field during this game. First pitch by Palmer. It'll be a ball outside, 1-0. Michael Hughes on the season. 6 hits and 51 at-bats. He has struggled to start off his professional career. However, Tom Koshman has a lot of faith in this gentleman. Takes a strike on the outside corner, 1-1. And it's interesting because Michael Hughes, me and Zach Frazier were talking about it Saturday night, but Michael Hughes, a free agent pickup. They have a lot of talent on this Angels team, but they've been really giving Michael Hughes a lot of playing time despite his 118 batting average. So there's a reason why he's in the lineup playing. Koshman likes this guy for some reason. And they're letting it ride. 2-1 pitch. Swung on, missed, and it's now 2-2 with Nate Sutton in the on-deck circle. Nate looks like he's putting a little pine tar on his bat. Michael Hughes out of the University of Illinois, Chicago. Was a good collegiate hitter, but didn't get drafted, signed as a free agent. 2-2, swing and a miss. Hughes will head back to the dugout with a strikeout as Lucas Palmer has the first 2 men in this inning. Swinging and missing.
Third baseman, Nate Sutton.
Nate Sutton singled in the 5th to keep his hitting streak alive at 14 games, and let's see what he can do against Palmer. Don't forget, Angel fans, Thursday nights are free haircut nights at the ballpark, sponsored by Paul Mitchell. Nate Sutton takes one on the thigh as he heads over to first base, being hit by the pitch. So Sutton, 2 outs, he's on board. Rodriguez will make his way in, but again, Thursday nights are free haircut nights at the ballpark. And Asnar Family Chiropractic, Wellness, and Health, they are a wonderful massage company, chiropractics. They'll be at the ballpark Wednesday, giving out free massages, free balloons, as they are just a wonderful group of people. Dr. John Asnar does a great job as he brings his company out to the ballpark. They set up their booth, and they give the fans something to be excited for. So we thank Dr. Asnar for all the support he's given to the Provo Angels so far this season. Sean Rodriguez with the runner at first, batting from the right side. First pitch will be a strike, fastball on the outside corner. Rodriguez walked in the first inning, popped out to right field in the third, and then struck out in the fifth inning to end it. The Chukars have scored 8 runs, the Angels only 1, and we are in the 7th. The 0-1 pitch outside. Del Rosario does a good job of keeping it in front of him. In fact, Provo scored early in this game. They led 1-0. But then going to the bottom of the second, Idaho Falls scored 4. And then the Chukars would put 4 more on the board in the bottom of the third. A ball and a strike to Rodriguez. Here's the pitch. And it is a strike. Good breaking ball, 1-2. Provo Angels baseball wouldn't be possible without a bunch of great sponsors and marketing partners we have. And I'd like to thank all of those who have been involved with the Angels for quite a while now. Barber Brothers, Asnar Family Chiropractic jumping on board this year. Also New Ways, New Skin, so many great sponsors. Next pitch to Rodriguez is outside, 2-2. Also, Out and Back Mountain Wear, Deseret First Credit Union, Zions Bank. Angels baseball would not be possible without our great sponsors. 2-2 pitch, Rodriguez, base hit into center field as it was a breaking ball. Rodriguez guessed right, got underneath it, and singled into center. So with 2 outs on the board, runners are at first base and second base.
First baseman.
And Cliff Remele makes his way in. The Angels, during their past, if you take away Saturday's game, they've been hitting the ball with authority when runners have been in scoring position. But today they've struggled, and as they've stranded quite a few guys. And also Saturday against the Rockies, they stranded a bunch of guys. Remele from the left, he's 0 for 3 today. He'll take a ball low and inside, 1-0. Idaho Falls, they've only needed 2 innings to put their 8 runs on the board. As they sent 9 men to the plate in the second, they scored 4. And then they sent 9 men to the plate in the third inning and scored 4. Remele, a 2-hopper right to the second baseman, Solis grabbing it, and it looks like he's going to make the play. And now the ball is... Looked like the umpire thought Eddie had the ball, so he called the runner out, but instead he found that the guy behind him had the baseball. The ball was kind of bobbled by Solis. Difficult play to make. Should be an infield single, but we'll wait and see what the official scoring is. But he had to come in, glove the ball, and bounce off of him. And right as he seemed like he had a play on it, he touched second base, but the ball slipped under him. So it'll be an error. So Remele reaches on an E4. Bases are loaded, 2 outs. And it'll be a liner right to the shortstop. Lucas throwing a second to get the force out. So Toussaint grounds out, ends the inning. Strands a couple runners. We head to the bottom of the 7th. Idaho Falls 8 and the Provo Angels 1. Yeah.
We have a winner in tonight's Marcella's 7th inning stretch contest. Lorraine Van Pelt. Lorraine, head to the United Dairyman customer service window and pick up your prize from Marcella's. Hugh Roberts of Pocatello won $50,000 cash at Fort Hall Casino. Would you be the next big winner? Fort Hall Casino. Big fun, big winners. Exit 80 off I-15. We also had a couple of lucky ticket numbers courtesy of Westmark for a three-piece CD player. Ticket number 02.
Bottom of the 7th inning. Idaho Falls 8, the Provo Angels 1. Chukars will be sending up their 9, 1, and 2 hitters. And let's go ahead and take a look at this date in baseball history. 1979, a lot of you may remember, or at least seen the old videos, the Tigers won the first game of a scheduled doubleheader on Disco Demolition Night at Comiskey Park. It was this date, 1979, that thousands of fans swarmed onto the field, littering and tearing it up, and they caused the White Sox to forfeit the second game as Bill Veeck thought Disco Demolition Night would be grand, and the White Sox ended up forfeiting the game. This date, 1979. Del Rosario quickly behind in the count, 0-2. As we're in the bottom of the 7th, 8-1 Idaho Falls. Casey Mutter on the mound. He's worked 2 innings. He's given up no walks, no hits and a couple of walks as he's trying to get his team back into it. But the Angels are now going to be down to 6 outs to work with. 0-2 to Felipe. Here's the pitch, swung on, missed, and that'll be an out. So Casey Mutter getting his 3rd strikeout of the game. 1 gone here in the 7th. And Geraldo Valentin makes his way to the plate. For kicks, we're going to give you another trivia question as soon as Valentin's at-bat is finished with. So get your email ready to go, as I'll be expecting you guys to drop me an email at jpeters@provoangels.com. Valentin with a strike against him. He's 3 for 4 today. Mutter getting set. This one grounded to short. Good short hop by Rodriguez. Strong throw to finish it off. And that'll be out number 2. You know, a lot of infield coaches don't necessarily want your infielders to backhand balls left and right, but I guess if you got a good backhand play like Rodriguez, it's acceptable. Quickly 2 gone. Eddie Solis makes his way to the plate, and your Angels trivia question given to you after this pitch. Solis, ground ball to the shortstop, deep in the hole. Rodriguez, strong throw, and Remole is going to catch it on a jump. Lands on the bag, and Rodriguez looking like another guy we know by the name of A-Rod. That ends the inning. 1, 2, 3 go the Chukars. However, Idaho Falls leads 8-1 as we head to the top of the 8th. Sick play.
Those ticket stubs ready. Time for your CD World Lucky Ticket Contest. If you are in section CC, row 9, seat 18, you can go pick up a prize at the United Dairyman customer service window from CD World. Keep those ticket stubs out if you are seated in bonus book number 1183. Ticket number 2, you won a prize courtesy of Napa Auto Parts. Stop by the United Dairyman customer service window for your prize. We also have a couple of lucky ticket numbers from Westmark. For a DVD, ticket number 2151. For Magic Shade, ticket number 1707. And for a Stadium Chair, ticket number 0697. Again, to the United Dairyman customer service window for your prize from Westmark.
Is this still Palmer? Top of the 8th inning out here at McDermott Field. Idaho Falls 8 runs on 10 hits. Provo Angels 1 run on 5 hits. And let's go ahead and look at ESPN.com. Jason Stark, a great baseball writer for ESPN. He has his mid-season awards given out. And Jason Stark has called Vladimir Guerrero the MVP of the first half of this season, as we'll quickly look over and get you up to date with a lot of these mid-season awards. Ben Johnson to start things off. Lucas Palmer on the mound. First pitch will be a ball, 1-0. They say Vladimir Guerrero is the American League MVP of the first half. He puts some great numbers together as he tries to surpass one of his best seasons he had back in 2000. He's on pace to do that as he's one of the top batters in the league as far as batting average is concerned, home runs, RBIs. He has the Angels just a couple games out of first place. 2-0 to Johnson. Takes a strike, 2-1. The National League MVP of the first half by ESPN.com. They say Scott Rowland of the Cardinals. It's almost impossible to make an argument that anybody is more valuable than Barry Bonds, but if you do have to make an argument, you got to go with Scott Rowland. Johnson's next pitch, low. He has 80 RBIs in the first 80 games for the Cardinals. He's on pace to drive in about 150, and he is just a deadly hitter with runners in scoring position. Scott Rowland, the MVP of the first half in the National League. Johnson fouls it back, 3-2 here in the 8th.
Time to call Majestic Auto Body and Glass, located off Hit Road.
The best pitcher in the first half in the AL, they say it's Mark Mulder of the A's, 12 wins, 2 losses. And in the National League, surprisingly, they say Jason Schmidt of the Giants. He's been underrated, but he's been playing very well. 3-2 to Ben. Grounder to the first baseman. Backhanded it is Mario. Flips to the pitcher who covers first, but it's not going to be in time. Leeson had to head towards second to backhand the ball. Palmer, coming off the mound, was chugging towards first base, but Ben Johnson with some speed as he gets himself an infield single. Great play by the first baseman, but Palmer not able to finish it off as Johnson singles. And now Joshua LeBlanc, who also has 2 infield singles on the game, steps in. 8-1, Idaho Falls. LeBlanc from the left, and now quickly throwing to first base, and the ball is going to bounce off Ben Johnson. There wasn't anybody covering at first base. Lucas Palmer turned around, fired to first. There was nobody there as Ben dove back. Now the ball bounced off of his helmet. Looks like he might have cracked his helmet, so Ben Johnson is waiting for the trainer, Aaron Wells, to come out. That was a funny little thing that just occurred. Palmer wasn't even looking towards first. First baseman Mario Leeson wasn't even covering the bag. Spun around through to first, and at least the ball bounced off of Ben Johnson and deflected back to the infield. In other words, Ben would have got up and chugged towards second. So very interesting play right there. LeBlanc at the bat. Again, Leeson is not covering the runner at first, not holding him on. Here's the first pitch. Broken bat flare into left field. That'll be a base hit. Johnson will round second. Chugs for third. Here comes the throw, and it is not a good throw by Batista as he rolls it to the infield. So LeBlanc with a double. Is it a double? A double by LeBlanc into left field. That puts runners at third and second. Nobody out. And J.R. Wren's the batter. Renz with an RBI single in the second. He's 1 for 3 today. And now has a couple guys in scoring position. First pitch by Palmer will be a strike as Renz crosses the plate. 0-1. Lucas Palmer on the season. I get his numbers here really quick. When runners have been on base, opponents have hit about 380 off of Lucas. Outside, 1-1. Renz from the right side. Johnson at third. LeBlanc at second. 8-1 Idaho Falls. The Angels aren't done yet, but very difficult to come back when trailing by 7 runs late in the game. Let's see if the Angels can do it, though. One hopper right to the shortstop. He's not going to go home with the play. He'll throw to first instead. He could have had a play at the plate, but catcher Felipe Del Rosario says, no, go to first. Go to first. Get the easy out. So 6-3 goes the play. 1 gone. Johnson scores. And it's now 8-2 Idaho Falls. Michael Perdomo, the 9-hitter, comes in. Perdomo 0 for 3. He's been struggling in the last 8 games he's played in. Only collected a couple of hits. He's a great player, but obviously last year Perdomo missed the entire season because of Tommy John surgery. Started off with the Provo Angels in 2002, missed all of last year, and here he is back with Provo. 1-0. The pitch by Palmer. Big swing and a miss on an outside pitch. Evens things up. Top of the 8th inning. Michael Hughes in the on-deck circle. LeBlanc in scoring position. Lucas Palmer, the right-hander, gets the sign. The next one, Palmer will swing and miss at an outside pitch again, and it's 1-2. Join us tomorrow at 7:05 as we get the pregame show underway. The Angels and the Chukars facing off for the last time here in the first half as both of these teams trying to battle it out and see who wins the South Division. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Palmer coming in with the pitch. Grounder, backhander by the third baseman. Good play by Butler, but the throw is going to bounce in front of the first baseman, Lisson. Gets away from him, and that's a good play right there. It looks like it'll be an E5, though. So Butler making a strong throw, but it bounced. And the first baseman, Lisson, didn't have a play on it. Perdomo at first, LeBlanc at third, runners at the corners. A lot of times first basemen are taught to make the dig at first base, but it looked as if Lisson was scared of the ball bouncing, kind of fell back, and the ball skipped away from him. Michael Hughes with runners at the corners. 1 out on the board. The Angels are trying. Hughes struck out in the 7th inning. This will be his second at bat of the game, and he'll take a breaking ball right over the plate, 0-1. Michael Hughes, free agent pickup out of the University of Chicago, Illinois. Has struggled, though, since being a professional. The 0-1 pitch, though, popped up into right field. Might be deep enough to score LeBlanc. Should be, and LeBlanc will jog home as the Angels have now tacked on another run. So they've scored 2 here in the 8th. The sacrifice fly for Michael Hughes. 2 outs. Perdomo still at first base. And they have cut this to a 5-run game. Nate Sutton singled in the 5th and then was hit by a pitch in the 7th. He's been an excellent hitter on the road, but hasn't had a lot of damage so far in this contest. First pitch is inside for a ball. Nate Sutton, UC Santa Barbara, 24th round pick. Good ball player. In fact, not good, great. That's why we've dubbed him Nate the Great. The 1-0 pitch, this one line, but right to short hop to Solis at second. He's going to have to pick it up, throws to first, and you can't gun Nate Sutton. He's got great speed, and If an infielder bobbles that ball momentarily, Nate's going to beat you. An error by the second baseman puts runners at first and second. Nate beating it out. It just bounced in front of Solis. It deflected off of him, but was unable to make the relay to first. Rodriguez. Sean Rodriguez now with runners at first and second here in the eighth. Trailing by 5 runs, but the Angels can make something happen with a huge hit right here. Swings, barely gets a piece of it, nothing in one. It's a pretty big gap out there in right center. So Rodriguez will have to stay back on the ball a little bit and try to find that right center gap. Obviously, with 2 outs on the board, the runners will be moving on contact. Perdomo at second, Nate Sutton at first. A strike to Rodriguez. Here's the pitch, and it'll be on the outside part of the plate, nothing in 2. Rodriguez, the past couple of games he's played in, he's really calmed down quite a bit as he was hitting the ball with authority, but today with the single, yesterday or Saturday against Casper, didn't do too much. He's been playing good defense, though. Nothing in 2. Lucas Palmer, the right-hander. With the pitch, this one past Leeson, and it'll be a base hit down the first base side. Perdomo comes home to score. Nate Sutton being held up at second, and it'll be a 2-out double for Rodriguez. So the Angels have just brought home another run. It is 8-4. And again, runners now at third and second with Cliff Remele, the batter. So a double by Rodriguez right off the glove of Mario Leeson at first. Brings home a run. Sutton has to stop at third. And now the pitching coach for Idaho Falls will come out. Jose Batista. So Cliff Remele, the lefty, will step out of the box, take a little break as they're going to have some discussions. The Chukars do have some activity going on in the bullpen. But with runners at third and second and Remele at the bat, this game is not over yet. The Chukars scoring 8 runs in the second and third innings. The Angels scored a run in the second and now have put 3 runs on the board here in the 8th. Lucas Palmer facing off against the lefty, Cliff Remele, who's a very good hitter with runners in scoring position. However, today he's 0 for 4, but he's hit the ball hard a couple of times. And let's see what happens. Sutton is at third base, Rodriguez at second, a chopper to the first baseman, Leeson. He's going to glove it himself, flips over to the pitcher now, and that'll end the inning. So Remele chopping it to the first baseman. It was a high hopper, but Palmer was there to back up his first baseman. That ends the inning. The Angels scored 3 runs, but they still trail by 4. We head to the bottom of the 8th, and the Chukars coming up.
Solis is good. Neck of the woods.
Yes.
Jimmy Douglas.
This call to the bullpen brought to you by U.S. Cellular. Now pitching for the Provo Angels, number 36, Jamie Douglas. Dean Porter of Covet won $45,000 cash at Fort Hall Casino. Will you be the next big winner? Fort Hall Casino. Big fun, big winners. Exit 80 up I-15. Time more for 3 more tickets from Westmark. Ticket number 0697. ticket number 0524. And Westmark, ticket number 1707. If your ticket is called, head to the United Dairyman customer service window and pick up your prize courtesy of Westmark.
Bottom of the 8th inning, the Idaho Fall Chukars sending up the heart of their order, the 3, 4, and 5 batters to see if they could add anything else to their scoring. They've scored 8 runs on 10 hits. The Angels, 4 runs on 9 hits as they put 3 runs on the board in the 8th. Now on the mound for the Provo Angels is the left-hander, Jamie Douglas. So Jamie on the season, 4 games. He's worked 4 2/3 innings. He's given up 8 hits, 7 runs, and 7 walks. So Jamie Douglas has had a hard time starting off this season, but he's an excellent pitcher, good command. Let's see what he can do against Alexander Bautista. First pitch, grounded. LeBlanc at second. It'll skip underneath his glove. So Bautista getting on base. A difficult play to make. We'll wait and see what the calling is. As you know, LeBlanc already has 12 errors on the season. And luckily for LeBlanc, that'll be a hit. So Bautista singles past LeBlanc under his glove. That's the third hit for Bautista on the night. And Billy Butler 0 for 4 steps in. Jamie Douglas, like I mentioned, he's given up a bunch of hits, a bunch of runs, and a bunch of walks in his 4 innings work this year. But he's a good athlete. We call him Jamie Babyface Douglas for his young look. He's a good athlete. Good left-hander. Let's see what he can do here against Butler. Runner at first base is Bautista, bottom of the 8th. An 8-4 Chukars lead. And it's outside, 1-1. Butler, the 14th overall pick in this year's amateur draft. He also tries to climb the ladder to the Kansas City Royals. He'll take a strike, 1-2. And it must be interesting for minor league ball players when they start off playing in small cities like this and work their way up. Hope that they play well enough to draw the attention of the big league club. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Bautista at first. Here's the pitch by Jamie, and it's popped in the gap of right center. Going back is J.R. Ranch. He's going to have to make a spectacular play, and he does as he catches it on the run. Good play by Renz as he has to go over his shoulder near the warning track, retiring Billy Butler for out number 1. If the Major League season was to end today, these would be your winners. New York Yankees, 7 games up in the American League East. Chicago White Sox, a half game over the Twinkies. And the Texas Rangers, 2 games over the Oakland A's. So it would be the Yankees, White Sox, and Rangers. And the Red Sox would be your wild card team if the season was to end today in the big leagues. Brian McFall, fly ball, foul grounds. Remele gives a chase, and he'll make a play again towards the fence. Quick lead, 2 outs, and Lucas digs in.
Shortstop, number 25.
And then in the National League, the Philadelphia Phillies have a 1-game lead over the Braves, so they would go. The Cardinals, 7 games up over the Cubs, they would go. And the Dodgers, a half game over the Giants, would make it. The wild card team in the National League, as of right now, will be the San Francisco Giants. Lucas, a hit and run, grounder right to the shortstop. Rodriguez, a nice throw as he jumps on the run, makes a good play. Remele toes the bag as he makes the play, and that will end the inning. So the Idaho Fall Chukars strand a runner. We head to the top of the 9th. Last chance for the Angels. That is an 8-4 game.
Ladies and gentlemen, our handing out free Chukars t-shirts brought to you by Screen Graphics. Fans turn page 62 in your game program. Which is signed by Chukars player Matt Ferrara. You won a prize courtesy of East Idaho Credit Union for the Frosty Gator. Stop by the United Dairyman customer service window to pick up your prize. Hey kids, you can run the bases after the game at McDermott Field. Presented by Rita Watson and Assist to Sell and Sonny Berkey at Citywide Funding. This ball to the bullpen brought to you by U.S. Cellular. Fans, look out for flying frisbees, courtesy of U.S. Cellular.
Saxon.
Now pitching for Idaho Falls, number 18, Chris Saxton.
Top of the ninth inning, final chance for the Provo Angels to make something happen. They trail by 4 runs as they put 3 on the board in the 8th, but now they have to go up against a new pitcher, Chris Saxton. So Saxton on the mound. This will be his 9th game pitched on the season. Saxton has thrown in 11 2/3 innings. He's given up 19 hits and 12 runs. So hopefully the Angels can make something happen against Saxton, who has struggled quite a bit. His ERA is over 10. Angels will be sending up Andrew Toussaint, Ben Johnson, and Joshua LeBlanc as they are down by 4 runs. Provo Angels baseball via the web on sportsnews.com, brought to you by Mark and Nancy Tackers at Pacific Palisades in California. It helped us make this a reality in webcasting the games as we get set to move into the new ballpark in 2005. So we thank Mark and Nancy Tackers for all their support. Toussaint shows bunt. He'll pull back and take a strike. 0-1. Chris Saxton in his 9th game this season. He's been pitching quite often for the Idaho Fall Chukars. The 0-1. And it'll be low. 1 ball, 1 strike. This is the 3rd game he's thrown in against the Provo Angels. He's worked a couple of innings against Provo and has given up 3 hits and 3 runs. Toussaint swings through the pitch. 1-2 here in the 9th. The Chukars trying to go to 12-11 in this very tight race in the South Division. The 1-2 pitch outside. 2-2 to Toussaint. 4 teams, all 4 teams in the South Division, tied with an 11-11 record. So not one team really is running away with anything. Obviously, the Helena Brewers are 14-9. Ground ball to third base and dropped is by Billy Butler. The ball drops out of his mitts, and that'll be an E5. It was a slow roller, backhanded it, but must have got the outside part of the glove, which clipped the ball, dropped it. Toussaint at first, and now Ben Johnson, the batter. But again, Helena Brewers 14-9. They have the best record in the Pioneer League. But they're really not dominating out in that North Division. If you look at their overall numbers, they have a couple guys who are playing great, but nobody's outstanding. Ben Johnson, the switch hitter. Infield single in the 8th inning would eventually score a run. Saxton's first pitch, a strike on the outer third of the plate. The lights are on out here. The field is shining. You can see quite a few mosquitoes and bugs floating around out here at McDermott Field. A great amount of fans, over 2,500 to catch a Monday night ball game. No balls and a strike. Saxton now steps off the mound. So again, the Angels down to their final 3 outs to make something happen. They trail by 4 runs. Ronnie Ray's in line for the loss. Justin Sherman in line for the victory. Johnson fouls it back, 0-2. Again, we urge you to log on to FutureAngels.com and read all the wonderful articles about these minor league teams in the Angel system. They got articles from the Salt Lake Tribune, the Arkansas Democratic Gazette, the Inland Valley Daily Bulletin. They cover Rancho Cucamonga. Provo Daily Herald. A lot of great articles on a daily basis posted on FutureAngels.com. Johnson with another foul ball. Also interviews including Dallas McPherson and Casey Koshman interviews. You can look at Casey Koshman's career on a video. It's called The Natural, so you can watch his rise from the minor leagues to the bigs. Nothing in two. Swing and a miss. Ben Johnson strikes out for out number one. One gone. LeBlanc makes his way to the bats. And this Wednesday, the AAA All-Star Game will be played. Salt Lake Stingers' Mike Brumley will be managing the PCL in that AAA All-Star Game. And as you know, Mike Brumley played a couple of years in Pawtucket. LeBlanc, 3 hits today. His first 3-hit game of the season. A couple of infield singles, a double. He's also scored a couple of runs. LeBlanc from the left. Toussaint, his collegiate teammate, is at first base. Saxton getting the sign from his catcher. First pitch will be low for a ball. J.R. Ren's in the on-deck circle. And if the inning can continue, Michael Perdomo will bat after that. Angels down by 4 runs with 2 outs to work with. LeBlanc waits the 1-0 pitch. It'll be low, 2-0. First baseman Mario Lisson out on the mound, just talking for a moment with his pitcher, maybe seeing if they want to try to throw to first base or not. Saxton, he's got some interesting numbers when runners have been on against him. 2-0 to LeBlanc. Here's the pitch, and it's going to be a strike down the middle, 2-1. Chris Saxton, decent numbers on the season, but the big thing has been when runners have been on base, opponents have nearly collected hits 50% of the time against him. Let's see what LeBlanc can do. Is this one is inside, 3-1, nearly pushing him off the plate. The Angels scored first in this game as J.R. Renz had an RBI single. That gave the Angels a 1-0 lead, but Idaho Falls came back in the second inning with some big runs. A 2-run double by Del Rosario. Geraldo Valentin with the RBI triple. And then Alexander Bautista with an RBI double in the second inning. That gave Idaho Falls a 4-1 lead. They did the same thing in the third as it would score 4 more runs. But the Angels would come back and score 3 in the 8th. As it is an 8-4 Idaho Falls lead. LeBlanc takes the pitch outside and he'll head over to first base with a walk. So the tying run now in the on-deck circle. J.R. Renz makes his way to the plate, and now the Idaho Falls Chukars manager, Brian Roop, will make his way to the mound. And it looks like they will make a pitching change. So Saxton is finished after facing 3 batters. 2 men are on base. Johnson, he struck out, but that is it. So Saxton retired. We'll go to a break as Idaho Falls bringing in a new pitcher. Chukars 8 and the Provo Angels with 4.
This call from the bullpen brought to you by U.S. Cellular. Now pitching for Idaho Falls, number 13, Zane Carlson.
Top of the 8th inning, the Idaho Falls Chukars bringing in a new pitcher. It's the right-hander, Zane Carlson. So the Chukars going to their big man. Zane has put up some good numbers this year. This will be his 9th game. He has 15 strikeouts and 10 innings worked. And his ERA is about 1.6. So he'll be facing off against the right-hander, Renz. And the first pitch is inside, 1-0. Zane has also been lights out in situations where he's faced the first batter he's faced. They've had a difficult time getting hits off of him. And obviously with runners on base, Zane has done a great job. However, he falls behind 2-0 to J.R. Renz as his pitch goes away from Dale Rosario. Toussaint at second base, LeBlanc at first. We're in the top of the 9th inning. The tying run for the Angels is in the on-deck circle. Renz at the bat, 2-0 counts. The pitch grounded, backhander not playable for Butler as it bounces over his head into left field. So J.R. Renz gets himself an RBI single. A difficult play for the third baseman to make. Hopped over him, looked like it might have hit a pebble, but either way, the tying run now comes to the plate as the Angels score their 5th run, and Michael Perdomo will be the batter. Zane, who very rarely gives up hits to open up his batters, all of a sudden gives up a run. The Angels now with 10 hits on the night. It's an 8-5 Idaho Falls lead, but Provo not done yet. Perdomo from the right side. Carlson delivers. Pitch will be high and in, 1-0. Perdomo 0 for 4 today. He reached on an error in the 8th inning, would eventually score, but he's had a very difficult time hitting the ball. And how sweet would it be if he makes contact against Zane? Again, and the ball goes outside, 2-0. So Felipe Del Rosario runs out to the mound to talk with his pitcher. Michael Perdomo, 2 balls, no strikes against him. A good count to possibly guess and swing on. Again, Perdomo has been struggling. Let's see if he can help be a hero in this contest. Down by 3 runs, he's the tying runner. 2-0 pitch. It'll be fouled down to the parking lot, down the right field side, 2-1. So the Angels making something happen late in this game. Chukars scoring all of their runs early in this contest. They scored 4 in the second, 4 in the third, and that's been it. They held on to an 8-1 lead, but the Angels trying to show their wings late in this game. Perdomo swing and a miss, 2-2. Michael Hughes in the on-deck circle. 1 out on the board. Perdomo representing the tying run in this contest against the Chukars. But if the Angels are going to do anything, they're going to have to do it against one of the best pitchers on this Chukars team. It'll be a strike, outside corner. So Perdomo sits down for out number 2. Zane Carlson getting a pitch to cut that outside part of the plate. And we've mentioned throughout the game that umpire has been giving that outside pitch to the pitchers, but looks like he does it here to Zane. 2 outs, Michael Hughes steps in. LeBlanc at second. Renz is at first base, top of the 9th. Michael Hughes, to put it boldly, he's been struggling this year, an average of only 118, and he'll take a ball outside, 1-0. Hughes from the University of Illinois, Chicago. The 1-0 pitch. He'll swing through it, 1 ball, 1 strike. And Hughes is just looking, he is struggling out there as he swings at these pitches. Kind of half-witted swings. A 1-1 count. 2 outs on the board, top of the 9th. The pitch, and it'll be low, 2-1. Michael Hughes has collected 6 hits and 53 at-bats this year. Only 6 hits. A couple of them have been doubles. Like to get one right here, but he'll take a strike, 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, top of the 9th inning. Final strike for Zane Carlson. Let's see if Michael Hughes could choke up on the bat a bit, show some patience, and keep this inning alive for Provo. Carlson gets some support from the fans. They're clapping and cheering. Here's the 2-2 pitch, and it'll be fouled into the parking lot. Michael Hughes, who came in and replaced Richard Giannotti in the 7th inning, had a sacrifice fly. Hughes had a sacrifice fly in the 8th. And again, 2 men are on base. Hughes represents the tying run. The 2-2 pitch, grounded foul down the third base side. Nate Sutton in the on-deck circle. If Michael Hughes can just somehow get on base, keep this inning alive, we'll see Nate the Great come in, and Nate has been one of the best clutch hitters in the league. Hughes, a 2-2 count. Zane Carlson, again, here's the situation. Here it comes. And again, it's going to be fouled back. So if anything, Michael having a good at-bat right here as he's fouling off a couple of pitches, staying alive. LeBlanc is at second base. Renz is at first. And Hughes represents the tying run in this contest. 8 runs, 11 hits for Idaho Falls. 5 runs, 10 hits for Provo. The 2-2 pitch. That's roped deep into center field. Going back, though, is going to be Geraldo Valentin, and he makes the play. Ends the game. So Michael Hughes, a good piece of hitting, but it goes right to the center fielder, Geraldo, who just has to run back. And that ends the ball game. Final score, Idaho Falls 8 and the Provo Angels 5. We're going to send it to a break. We'll bring it right back out here to McDermott Field to recap the game and get you set for tomorrow's contest. Back out here at McDermott Field, final score, Idaho Falls 8 and the Provo Angels 5. They made a good run at it late in the contest, but Michael Hughes lining out to center field, which represented the tying run. So the Chukars now go to 12-11 on the season, and the Angels are back under 500 as they are now 11-12. And it was an interesting game from the beginning. Obviously, the Angels started off scoring in the second inning. They led 1-0. After J.R. Renz had a line drive base hit to left field. But the Chukars came back scoring 4 runs in the bottom of the second. Felipe Del Rosario had a 2-run double. Then Geraldo Valentin, who extended his hitting streak, had a triple, which brought home a run. And then Alexander Bautista brought home the 4th run that inning as the Chukars led 4-1. They came right back in the bottom of the third. A single, a walk, and a walk loaded the bases. Also grounded into a double play, but even though there was a runner at third, 2 outs, Del Rosario walked. Valentin then brought home a run. Solis brought home a run. Bautista brought home a run as the Chukars put 4 more runs on the board in the third inning. That's all the scoring that Idaho Falls would do, but they were able to hold off the Provo Angels despite Provo scoring 3 runs in the 8th inning, thanks in large part to a sacrifice fly by Michael Hughes, an RBI double by Rodriguez, and a ground out by Renz, which brought home those 3 runs. Top of the 9th, things looked interesting. After Andrew Toussaint reached on an air, LeBlanc would walk with an out on the board. Renz brought home a run on a single. 2 men are on. Perdomo strikes out. Hughes starts battling back and forth as he's fouling pitches off left and right. He would hit a line drive to deep center field, but Valentin was on his horse, made the play, and ended the game as the Chukars defeat the Angels 8-5. Justin Sherman picking up the victory as he pitched 6 strong innings, only gave up 4 hits and a run, and the losing pitcher is Ronnie Ray as he gave up all 8 of those runs. So, unfortunately for Provo, in this close race in the South Division, they pick up the loss. So stay with us tomorrow, 7:05 game time, as the Angels and the Chukars will get ready for the final game of this two-game series. Give Nate Sutton a lot of credit. He had himself a single in 4 at-bats, reached base 3 times, also a hit by pitch and an error. But Nate Sutton played great defense as he extends his hitting streak to 14 games. Geraldo Valentin also extends his hitting streak to 14 games, as does Eddie Solis. Tomorrow, Billy Lehman will take the mound for Provo. Let's see what Billy can do as the Angels desperately want to get themselves a victory. That's it for us out here at McDermott Field. Final score, Idaho Falls 8, Provo Angels 5. Log on to sportsjuice.com tomorrow and tune in with us. Also, give us some updates on the All-Star game. That'll be played tomorrow night. You can watch that as well on TV. So have the TV turned down, the internet turned up, and let us know what's going on. Provo Angels, Idaho Falls, final game of this series tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in to sportsjuice.com. For the rest of the Provo Angels front office, I'm Jacob Peters. Have a great night, and we will see you tomorrow. Go Angels!